Check, check. All right. Good evening, everyone. Today is Wednesday, February 22nd. The time is 6:10, and this meeting is called to order. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Councilmember Brescher.
Here.
Councilmember Coyle.
Here.
Councilmember Harris. Here. Councilmember Patel.
Here.
Councilmember Patil. Councilmember Pointer.
Present.
Councilmember Ship Freeman.
Here.
Madam Clerk, adequate notice, please.
Adequate notice of this meeting as required by the Open Public Meeting Act of 1975 has been provided by the annual notice sent to the Home News Tribune, Star Ledger Sentinel, and Desi Talk on November 25th, 2022, and posted main lobby municipal complex at the same date.
Thank you. Before we proceed, I'm going to request to do the council president remarks ahead of time, just to try to speed up the process and do my general overview. Also, I want to make note that item 9C, Ordinance 2174, is being pulled from the agenda today. So once again, thank you everyone for coming tonight. I wanted just to give a brief overview of tonight's proceedings and some of the logistics. Tonight is a combined meeting, meaning that both the work session and regular meetings are performed together, with the work session first, followed by the regular meeting. During the work session portion, there will be a review of the minutes, reports from council committees, points of light, review of agenda items, report from the council member of the planning board, and discussion items. Following discussion items, the meeting will transition to the regular session. Here, there are the approval of the minutes, approval of volunteers, ordinances for introduction under new business, public comment on the resolutions, action on the resolutions, and then oral petition remarks from the public. For individuals wishing to speak during the public portions, you are allotted 6 minutes per speaking portion with 1 rebuttal provided for per meeting. For clarification, which I may have misspoke before, a rebuttal means you are making a comment based on a comment from another individual on something that you did not originally speak on. I have requested our deputy clerk to announce when speakers have 1 minute remaining in their speaking time. Any questions presented are to be addressed to the council president. Council is not required to address questions. However, I will afford the opportunity to respond on questions only. Any responses by the council or administration to any posed questions will count against the speaker's time, and time will not be halted. When a speaker comes up to the podium, I will request the speaker's name and address. I ask everyone to please be respectful of one another and maintain decorum throughout tonight's proceedings. If anyone is found to be out of order, a call for point of order will be made. The reasoning for why the individual is out of order and a warning will be issued. If an individual is found to be out of order again to the same offense, they will be directed to stop speaking and return to their seat. If there is continued disruption, as a last resort to maintain order and allow council to conduct its business, the individual will then be removed from council chambers. It is my duty as council president to ensure all speakers are treated equally and fairly. I am also tasked with ensuring the council performs its duties. With that, thank you, and let's move on. With that, number 4, review of the minutes. Any questions or comments from my colleagues? Hearing none. Item 5, reports from all council committees. I will start from my left with Councilwoman Ship Freeman.
I went to the Housing Authority is moving right along toward their RAD program and requests the meeting with the mayor. I think, the Housing Authority. And the other thing I want to mention right now is that I'm forming a senior committee. So if anybody would like to be on that committee, please send your emails to the clerk, because a lot of seniors are coming about asking me questions. So when we're going to have a meeting for the senior committee, and I think it would be good if a sprinkling amount of seniors from all over town would be able to come together, and then we can move forward on our senior project. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman Freeman. Councilman Patel?
Just for the open space, there's a letter that is from Walter Stoschel. I'm not sure if it's part of the agenda.
I do apologize. It is not, but I'll make sure that it's circulated and put on communications for the next agenda. My apologies.
Council President, excuse me, I forgot.
Yes, Councilwoman Freeman.
Left it off my list. We're on the master plan, and the master plan is moving along beautifully. And when you get to meet as a whole with the master plan, you will see that they did listen to what the community said, and they are moving forward in the direction that we would like to move in Edison. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilman Coyle?
Council President, the DPW committee met, and we had a long and depth conversation about the snow removal, if and when, and our trucks being prepared. So far, as you know, we've been lucky. The winter has been great. I'm sure the director doesn't want to hear me say that now because we'll have a ton of snow tomorrow, but we're in a good position. We ordered more salt. Our trucks are all prepared and maintained. And also, we bought some new trucks. We also discussed the purchase of trucks and the issues with purchasing at this time and how to get around that. We are improving some pre-existing vehicles and turning them over to roll-offs. So I'm looking forward to that, being able to fast-track some of our services. So good things are happening. We also discussed facility maintenance with our buildings, and that is certainly making good progress. Also discussed the timing of our park maintenance and periodic maintenance of the parks. Somehow we discussed the Amboy Avenue in there, and the maintenance of Amboy Avenue and improvement in that area as well. That's all we had on there. Other members who want to add to that during their council remarks, they can. And we're planning a meeting for public safety. I probably should just have one tonight if the rest of this command staff would stay. I can have one meeting here now, but be done. But sometime in March, I'm going to ask the administration if we can plan one for our last meeting in March. Would work out well. And that's all I have, Council President. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Councilman Brusher?
Yes, this is the Edison Environmental Commission. They met February 16th. I wasn't in attendance. I wrote it in as the 17th, but they sent me minutes to their meeting. They talked about open issues about the Silver Lake Pollinator Garden and the new dates for the cleanup that they're going to add to the calendar. The boat dedication to Bob Toth, and that's for Sunday, March 12th, 9 a.m. They talked about the proposal for some tree plantings where some trees have died, and the master plan overview for the Peter J. Barnes Preserve Master Plan hearing. They did some talking about recycling, and they were talking about helping or working with the schools to possibly help with the issue that we have with plastics overall. Between store bags and Ziplocs and any type of plastic. They were talking about the litter and stormwater recycling, graffiti, and no dumping signs, where they have a webinar about stormwater PowerPoint presentation for stormwater management, and the goals to be ready to be presented to the council by the next meeting. Litter, they're trying to, maybe work with the schools to bring some awareness about litter. Anybody that's my age remembers all of the, they were educational ads on TV about litter. And I think that would be a good thing to teach the young people, so maybe they learned what I learned. 21 to 26 mile bike tour. There's a pickup bus and trailers. If you can't finish, they need to have better methods to inform the public. J.P. Stevens Weekly. The Earth Day event for April 22nd, 2023. It's a township event. They got cleanup events coming. New business. Weed Warriors. Teaneck Creek Conservancy representation, work with Metuchen to expand the program to Edison. The groups work together to clean up invasive plants and educate the public on what plants are invasive. I think that's very good because we do have quite a bit of that in the town. And there's a presentation for the mayor on February 28th at the State of the Township. And a second community garden is under construction in North Edison. I did see they did start that, so that's a good thing. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Council Vice President Harris.
Yes, let me start with the library board. We met on February 7th, and what was discussed was, there was an update on the bookmobile. This is that we imported a bookmobile from Ohio, and in fact, Alan Kleiman, the executive director, actually drove back in the bus from Ohio to here. The books are being ordered for the bookmobile, and there's going to be an event with St. Patrick's Day. The bookmobile is going to make its debut. They're also going to be checking out trial routes during National Library Week. Let's see, we also had the North Edison branch update. They're looking at plans for the plans and the building, and there's going to be a meeting at the end of this month. It wasn't specified when. Old business was resolution to approve a contract to Anthony Iovino of the firm of Arcaria and Iovino, professional architecture and design services for the North Edison branch not to exceed $7,500, and the Claire Barton branch not to exceed $5,000, but that was tabled for now. The next meeting will be March 14th at 7 p.m. in council chambers. The other report is for the newly formed Cultural Arts Committee, and that was held on Monday. That was held on Monday, the 20th. We made introductions for the members. There are 7 members so far on the committee, and we had the nominations and elections of chair and vice chair, and the committee voted for Tony Macero to be the chair and Lois Tarr to be the vice chair. We did some brainstorming on various ideas for projects that can be done with this committee, and some of them include converting the old snack shack downstairs into a gallery of sorts. It actually has a lot of good possibilities for that. Looking at possible sculptures in some of the gardens, doing some themed art, maybe some kinds of things at the gazebo in Papiani Park, maybe doing some things during parades, and looking at any possibilities for maybe forming a symphony or some kind of band for Edison to perform in. And the long-term goal still being to to build a cultural and performing arts center. We are looking to partner with some of these projects with Gloria Dittman, who is the director of the Edison Arts Society. For next steps, we are looking at some smaller projects like maybe putting in some paver tiles for the entryway to the municipal building that people could purchase, and they can dedicate it to whomever, but decorative kinds of tiles that would make the entrance to this building I think more appealing. Once again, we're going to take a look at the Shake Shack for some rehabilitation there. And then the Melnick House on Wood Avenue, which is that Wood Avenue? I think it's on Wood Avenue. That the township had bought, and that we might be able to hold some small events there. It has all kinds of possibilities. The next meeting will be Tuesday, March 14th at 6 p.m. Thank you.
Thank you, Council Vice President. For myself, the Smart City Advisory Committee meeting got rescheduled for next month. Date is to be determined. The Historic Preservation Commission is meeting next Monday on the 27th. And I was part of the Education Subcommittee meeting, which Councilman Patil, I believe, will provide a report once he arrives. Any other comments for committee reports? Hearing none. Points of light.
Yes.
Yes, Council Vice President Harris.
Well, I'm really glad to see such a nice attendance by our men and women in blue here, because I wanted to use this time to congratulate all of you who have been promoted and all the people who aren't here who were promoted. I was not able to attend the lieutenant's promotion ceremony, but I did attend the sergeant's promotion ceremony. And it just makes me proud to live here and to have a police force that is really second to none, in my opinion, in this, not only in the state, but possibly in the country as well. So I congratulate all of you. I want to send out special congratulations to Councilwoman Ship Freeman for, is a proud aunt of Don Ship, who has been now promoted to lieutenant. So again, congratulations to all of you. I also wanted to shout out to the J.P. Stevens Chamber Choir, who is currently, as we speak, in Cincinnati for the American Choral Director Association. They're competing in the nationals. I think there were 78 choirs that were invited to compete, and that is going on from today through the 25th. There was a send-off concert on February 15th last week at St. Matthew's, and it was just wonderful. So wishing them all the best of luck. Thank you.
Thank you, Council Vice President Harris. Any other points of light?
I'll discuss it during the council time.
For myself, I'd like to just mention some upcoming meetings and events. On the meeting end, February 23rd is the Board of Education caucus meeting. February 27th is Planning Board. February 28th, Zoning Board. February 28th as well, Board of Education public meeting. March 2nd, Open Space Advisory. March 6th, Technical Review Committee. March 8th is a combined Town Council meeting. March 13th, the Planning Board. And March 16th, the Board of Education. And as Council Vice President Harris mentioned before, the Library Board is on March 14th, which I forgot to write down. In regards to upcoming events, February 25th, Heart Health Month event at Thomas Jefferson Middle School, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. February 28th is the State of the Township, 7 p.m. at Pines Manor. March 11th is St. Patrick's Day event at 922 Amboy Avenue from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. March 16th is the Peter J. Barnes III Preserve Master Plan meeting, 7 p.m. here at the Municipal Building. And March 18th, Women's Matter Brunch, 12 p.m. to 3 p.m. at the Pines Manor. Once again, any other points of light from council colleagues? Hearing none. Oh, actually, one other item. The Edison Police Department will be participating in the annual Polar Bear Plunge for the Special Olympics. So thank you for your participation. With that, we'll move on to the regular agenda. 7, from the Business Administrator. A, resolution awarding various professional services contracts for 2023. B, resolution authorizing a contract to NJ Community Solutions not to exceed $55,000. C, resolution authorizing the use of competitive contracting for a network transit service. And D, resolution awarding contract purchase order to Home Depot not to exceed $175,000 for building supplies and related products. Any questions or comments from my colleagues?
I just need an explanation, a more thorough explanation for B and E, because someone sent me emails asking me to be more explicit about B and E. So.
Is that E or D?
B and also E.
B and D.
B, resolution authorizing a professional service contract to New Jersey Community Solutions for consulting services not to exceed 50. They want to know the explanation for that.
That one is a service contract for Matt Watkins, who has been assisting the administration on numerous items, such as the ACO agreement that happened last year. Are you?
No, I want it made plain because someone's asking me, and I'd like for them to get
In
a thorough
regards to
answer.
the Home Depot items, that's just general building supplies that the township requires. And I had asked the BA how they got to that amount, and they said that it was based on previous year's expenditures.
So that number B is resulting from the Home Depot.
No, that's item D.
No, I said E. Not,
E is off the agenda, Councilwoman.
B and E, Shannon.
Oh,
Council President, if I may?
I'm so sorry.
May I?
No, I'm sorry.
No, yeah, because all I
No.
asked for, I'm sorry if I said it, I should have
For-
said B as in boy and E as in Earl.
My apologies. When I tried to make a condensed version so that I can enunciate what the items are, and I had accidentally deleted E. E is a resolution extending professional service contract with Vision Media Marketing. And that's for, yes, which I apologize. I apologize. That's my error.
Is it on or off?
Yes, that one is on, and
All right,
again,
so-
my apologies.
The explanation for the resolution extends the professional services contract with Vision Media Consulting Services until April 30th, not to exceed 10,000.
To our business administrator, please.
Sure. That is the company that we use to provide the illuminator to everyone. The reason for the extension is because we're trying to explore some options with regard to a company that may provide this similar service. So we're just trying to give some time if we need to go out to bid or explore some various options for providing the same service. So we're just giving ourselves a little bit of time.
Okay, so we want the same services for a lower amount of money.
Potentially, I think it's prudent that we evaluate, and having not been here a whole full year and coming into a contract like this, I wanted a little more time to look into a service like this.
Okay. And so the resolution authorizing a professional services contract to New Jersey Community Solutions for Consulting Services is the advisement for our mayor to help him to,
Yes, through Matt Watkins.
Excuse me?
Through Matt Watkins, who is assisting the administration. Matt
okay, to
Watkins,
help
yeah.
him find out what? Find out, a consult?
If I may, Council President?
Yes,
So the service is through Community Solutions, that's through Matt Watkins, who's the principal, and what essentially has been done throughout the year and continues to happen is the ACO agreement, as you may recall, for all of the improvements, as well as other policy-related things that we require his assistance. So that is what the contract is for, and the proposal as well.
Thank you. It's just that when I get questions, I like thorough answers to answer people properly. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments?
Council President?
Yes, Councilman Brescher.
C, the transit service. What are we doing with that? And, what is that about?
So what this does, it authorizes us to go out and have a competitive contract put out for potentially a light transit service. That's what we're exploring. But the first step is that we put on a resolution to have that RFP to go out.
Okay. I'd like to say, a previous mayor tried doing this, and he didn't do it. It's one of the reasons why I stayed here in Edison. I moved to Edison because it was a suburb. You know, one of the things that kind of typically happens is your suburb turns into an urban environment, typically by allowing your buildings to grow taller, providing more bus service and things of that nature. And I'd like to see Edison maintain a suburban feel without the whole bus thing looking like Union City or Jersey City type of thing. I'm not really a fan of expanding our bus service, to be quite honest with you.
I think this is actually in contrast to what you may be thinking about. What this does, it is an environmentally responsible way to provide services to our senior community, all of our residents in Edison Township. So thus eliminating perhaps some vehicular issues that we all know Edison has. So I think that this is overall a good program and this administration is going to go forward because there are many grant opportunities out there that could put a program like this in place.
I understand. It looks, by your response, right, it looks like what we're looking to do is to build up the high-rises, right, so we don't, we turn more into an urban society.
That's not what I said. We're not talking about building necessarily, but rather a light transit service.
Right, like a Union City. Okay, that's fine. It's just what direction are you looking the town to go in? That's all.
Council President?
Thank you.
Just before.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Any other questions or comments?
Just
I'm sorry.
the question about E. I heard that, was it E provides a service for Matt Watkins before?
No, that was B.
B is
And-
Matt Watkins. I get that, but then I heard something about somebody provides a service.
Are you referring to Vision Media E?
Yeah, they provide a service to Matt Watkins?
No.
No, two separate things. What
Okay.
Vision Media does is provide us with the formation of the illuminator.
Right, yes. Okay. No, that's it, Council
Yeah,
President.
which again, I apologize for my mishap before. in
Okay,
my
I just heard it.
pronunciation.
Yeah, okay.
Councilman Vice President Harris.
Yes, back to C. Am I correct that the number of vehicles, the number of buses for the light transit would be something like 3 or 4?
In the memorandum that we got, that's one of the objectives. I know that there are other opportunities that are available, but I don't anticipate the administration looking to go for like a 50-passenger bus system or anything like that.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions or comments?
Council President,
Yes, Councilman Patel.
for item C again, that was an existing service already that we canceled, right?
Yes, in 2011.
I just want to point out that we're not building tall buildings, we're just bringing back a service that already existed. And I think it would be good for the residents to have an alternate source for people that don't drive. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments?
Council President,
Yes, Councilman Coyle.
I just, I'm happy to see we're going to continue the illuminator. For the last 30 years, I've been involved in observing politics. We've never had any engagement or, something that went out to the community. So I hear a lot of good from it. My neighbors tell me they like it. They enjoy reading what's going on in the community, hearing past events and future events. It's working out. And it's something we should have started a long time ago. I mean, each year we've passed the same amount of money, if not a little less or a little more, and I didn't get anything in the mail. So I think it's been working out well. I'm looking forward to it continuing. And also the transit, I hope through your leadership, Council President, we start getting some more green vehicle busing. I know you discussed that, so I look forward to the transportation opportunities.
Thank you, sir. Any other questions or comments?
Yeah, Council President, on
Yes,
E.
Councilman Patil.
Yeah, this is exclusively for the township, right? The municipal side of the government. This doesn't include the library or the Board of Education or any of those things, correct?
And my understanding is that it's strictly on the municipal side.
Correct. Now, we should, try to look at the synergy, how do we pass the consistent message across the town, what's happening in the town. If the intent is to engage the residents, I think, it's a good idea to have under one umbrella, what's happening with the Board of Education, what's happening with the library, what's happening with the township. That will be a good thing to do rather than having individual organization or individual entity doing their own thing and spending more taxpayers' money. Again, I'll definitely support this. It's a good idea. But my recommendation going forward would be include the entire government rather than having this siloed operation. Thank you, Council President.
Thank you, sir. For myself, in regards to HC, the network transit service, I think this opportunity is a great thing to explore. In many conversations I've had throughout the past couple of years, residents have expressed concern about traffic, about pollution, about access to be able to get to, say, for instance, train stations or from point A to point B in general throughout the township. So I think it's a good thing for us to be exploring this opportunity. In regards to 8B, New Jersey Community Solutions, I think Matt Watkins has done a phenomenal job within the administration, both with his work with the ACO negotiations, as well as some other items that he's helped with throughout the township. So, thank you. Moving on, 8, from the Department of Finance. A, reported disbursements through February 16th. B, resolution authorizing refund of $526,676 for redemption of tax sales certificates. C, resolution authorizing refund for water overpayments totaling $10.72. D, resolution authorizing refund for tax overpayments totaling $16,805.21. And E, resolution authorizing refund for sewer overpayments totaling $678.79. Any questions or comments? Hearing none. 9, from the Department of Law. And again, item C has been removed from, 10 from the Department, 9 from the Department of Law, my apologies. Again, item C has been removed from tonight's agenda. A, ordinance authorizing the grant of a parking easement over and across a portion of Prospect Avenue. And B, ordinance amends Chapter 15 entitled Property Maintenance, Section 3, Abandoned and Vacant Properties, Registration and Maintenance to conform with NJSA 4048-212, Section 2. Any questions or comments?
Council President?
Yes, Councilman Brusher.
To the attorney, A, this here is a parking easement. I guess they want to use township property so that they could park. My concern is that eventually, with development, like I talked about earlier, all of the streets in Edison will have sidewalks. Okay, if we went back to when I was a child, we have 1,000% more sidewalks. So, when that happens, is this building owner going to be able to say, I was given an easement, so therefore I don't want to put a sidewalk there. I don't have to put a sidewalk. And then our residents are going to have to walk into the street. Like, are we going to create something, or can we at that time then just take it back at any time?
No. Well, you could take it back, but there'd have to be some negotiation with the owner of the easement. So it's not, it could be purchased at that point, but the easement will exist, and we'll have to consider that if we want to do a sidewalk. In this case, though, the zoning board gave approvals which required this particular landowner to seek this easement from the council. So really, this has been vetted by the zoning board, and this is the last step of an application that was already approved. But to your question, if in fact the sidewalk was required, that's something we'd have to go back to the property owner at that point to see if we could work out some arrangement. But it wouldn't be a foregone conclusion that a sidewalk would be available at that location.
Okay, so
Yeah.
so basically, we're giving him this. He's not giving us anything, right, for the easement, for the use of it. But in the future, if we want it back, he could ask for some sort of compensation.
Potentially, yes. That was a requirement of the zoning board when they granted this application.
All right,
Yeah.
thank you.
Thank you.
Council
Any
President?
other, just before, any other questions or comments?
That's it, Council President.
Thank you, sir. Councilman Patel.
Just following up what the councilman said, can we require that can we put in a clause that in the future, if we need it for certain things, they need to offer it back at pro bono or something like that?
The problem then is that we're now in conflict with the zoning board. See, the zoning board was very clear that in order for this project to work, they needed this easement, or they needed to make the application for this easement. So if we place some restrictions on the easement, it potentially could upset the zoning board application. So I wouldn't recommend it. I think that there's an approval here. This is the last stage of that approval. If in the event there was an opportunity to do a sidewalk there, certainly something that we can make happen. It would just require some negotiation. And I wouldn't forego this whole project over the possibility of something in the future.
Sounds good.
Councilman Patel.
Yeah, thank you. The question back to attorney. Thank you, Council President. This is, the portion of the land we are giving it to the developer. And what we are saying is if the township needs, we need to purchase that back from, because we are giving it
Potentially, we would have to negotiate with this developer at that time. Now, what form that would take, I can't speak to a potential negotiation in the future over a sidewalk that doesn't yet exist. So it's hard for me to tell you what would transpire at that point. All I can say is that currently, this project is required to have this easement as per zoning board approval.
Understood,
So
but
I can't really comment as to what future negotiations would require and what would be required of us in them. At this point, I can't really speculate as to what that would look like.
Understood, but I fail to understand that we are handing over the piece of property from the township, again, really not handing over, but giving the easement.
Correct.
And what I'm understanding is, if the township foresees some usage of that, we'll have to get into separate negotiation, which is not fair to the township, to the taxpayers. I think we should put some type of a clause if the township needs this, I would say, access or any improvement on that. We shouldn't be paying anything. We should have some right there. Otherwise, it's like tomorrow I might say, hey, there's a road in front of my house. I want to build another 5,000 square feet. Give me that road. How that's going to work?
We could. The problem is it could then make the whole project fail because this project requires this parking easement as per the zoning board. It requires this easement. So if we now place a restriction on it that we could take it back at any time, they really haven't acquired the easement necessary to create the parking required for this project as per zoning board approval.
Correct.
So we certainly could, but we have to understand that the whole project may fail.
Understood.
Yeah.
But what is our interest in this particular project? Why this must move on so that we can live without having that property in our possession?
Can I offer a comment? Sure. This parking easement is approximately 830 square feet. If you look at the existing property right now on the right side, there's already parking stalls that are installed there. So this specific portion that's for the easement is already concrete right now. It's not like it's an undeveloped thing in regards to, and from what I read, it's just pretty much to continue the use with the parking stalls that are on the right-hand side. I believe the zoning board application was to convert it for some sort of restaurant, if I recall correctly. So they're just trying to make sure that they have.
No, I get that. There's an existing situation. My point here is this is a township property, right? What is critical that this project must go forward so that we can forego our property? What's the criticality? Is because project is going to fail, it's going to it will result in $10 million losses in the tax revenue. If that's the case, yeah, give it. But if it is something we are helping a developer who is not willing to agree to put that type of clause, then we're pretty much handing over the property to someone without any condition there.
That's ultimately a policy decision you have to weigh in your vote. If the 830 feet is worth that much to put the project in peril, that's your decision ultimately. And that's obviously why you vote on this.
Absolutely. And again, thank you for clearing that. I will not be supporting this for that matter. But again, my point here is, if this is the zoning board needs this piece of property as the easement, the applicant can very well ask for the D variance. And zoning board can still continue to approve giving this piece of property, leaving this piece of property in the possession of the township. I don't see that why we are handing over without having any control on that property. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments in regards?
Council President,
Yes, Councilman Coyle.
C, I'm not thrilled.
Just so you know, C was pulled.
I
from
do,
the-
I know, and I'm not thrilled that it is pulled. I think,
I would
And
prefer
okay.
to
Okay.
keep towards items
Fine.
that are on the
okay,
agenda.
no problem.
Thank you, sir. Any other questions or comments? Hearing
Council
none.
President, just on B, thank you for the updates on this abandoned and vacant properties. The question to, actually technically to clerk, but I will ask question through Council President to our BA. Do we have the list of all these properties currently? I remember in 2019, we passed this ordinance to enforce that these abandoned properties are maintained, or we can maintain and we can bill to the homeowners. Again, I don't know. We maintain the inventory of these properties. It is publicly available. Anybody can report. Are we collecting any fines?
The process is that we do maintain a list, and we do put the onus back in terms of what any improvements or any work that we've done to secure the location. We do put a lien on the property.
Okay. Is there a way that, again, not for any other purpose, but just to make sure the process is working as expected, is there a way that you can submit a report to the council?
I think this is part of one of the steps in order to maintain that and to move forward.
I would disagree on that. We had very clear ordinance on how the property should be maintained that was passed in 2019. In fact, I was the one who sponsored that ordinance. So this is an amendment to that ordinance. Doesn't mean that we shouldn't be maintaining the list. We shouldn't be enforcing any of the this ordinance. So again, I'm lost. If we are not maintaining and we are waiting for this ordinance to be passed, then why did we pass the ordinance in 2019?
Councilman Patil, sorry, not to interrupt, but at not the last meeting, I think the meeting prior, I had asked for that list that you're asking for. I will forward it to you.
Thank
And
you.
just so you know, it's at the moment it's just residential properties, but this ordinance helps address
Understood. Yep, I'm completely agree with that, and I'm fully in support of that. But when I heard that we are not doing it, that's where my concern came in. But if you have the list, thank you, forward that to me.
Yes, I'll absolutely forward that to you. And for myself, in regards to 10B, abandoned properties, I just wanted to list some of the items that are recommended adjustments to the ordinance that I find of extreme value to help the quality of life for the residents of Edison. First, it's good that we are now looking to include commercial properties. The current ordinance is strictly on residential, which, as you know, commercial properties can absolutely cause blight within our township. I'm happy to see under K that graffiti is added as a condition which can identify a property that is not occupied. Under 15-3.7, number 10, it adds enforcement against vandalism and graffiti to be removed and exterior hazards repaired. Under L, setting stricter guidelines 1 year down to 6 months if a violation remains uncorrected. Clarification under 15-3.4 to include that all forms of registration that is required, whether new or amended, have to be filled out. And item K, under fees and penalties, which stipulates that a minimum of 20% must be used towards code enforcement. I think that these are all very positive adjustments, and I do hope to have the support of the council in the introduction and hopeful passage. Thank you. With that, we'll move on to item 10, Department of Planning and Engineering. A, resolution provides for refund of unused portion of developer escrow fees. B, resolution refunding in-house engineering inspection fees. And C, resolution authorizing professional services contract to Bignell Planning for planning consultants and to act as Director Administrative Officer, not to exceed $130,000. Any questions or comments?
Council President?
Yes, Councilman Patil.
On C, I'm happy to see that Bignell Planning firm is continuing to operate as a, as a director or the administrative officer. They have been a great value to the town, knowing their experience past several years. Again, thank you for putting this on the agenda.
Thank you, sir. Any other questions or comments?
Council President,
Yes,
I
Councilman
couldn't
Moore.
agree more. Bignell Planning, their historic value of knowing the town and the decades of each development and knowing the start and finish is just so important, and their experience. And I've heard nothing but good things in that department, so happy to see it on the agenda.
Thank you, sir. And likewise on my end, item C for the Director Administrative Officer for Bignell Planning. I've heard phenomenal things in the restructure of the zoning department, and I look forward to the continued improvement for 2023. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none. 12, from the Department of Public Works. A, resolution authorizing the purchase of a street sweeper with options for $289,399.48. And B, resolution releasing street opening escrow. Any questions or comments?
Council President?
Yes, Councilman Brescher.
A, the street sweeper, is this to replace one that's broken?
Yes.
Okay. I just noticed that I haven't seen it coming down Grove Avenue as of, well, for months. So I assume one was broken because they used to come down on a regular basis. All right, thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none. 13 from the Department of Water and Sewer. A, resolution authorizing purchase of a bypass pump for $139,775.30. Any questions or comments?
Council President?
Yes, Councilman Patil.
A question to, Council President, question to BA. Do we maintain any spare or inventories as a part, or do we have any budget for the water and sewer department that we can maintain some sort of an inventory so it doesn't come back to the council like on ad hoc basis?
The item here exceeds the
Eh.
44,500, so it does have to go to council.
No, item A,
Under water and sewer?
Department of Water and Sewer, correct?
Right, your question, can you repeat your question?
No, my question is, do we maintain the inventory of motors or any of the parts or any of those things that we need for water and sewer department? If we can get the blanket approval ahead of a time, like in a year, hey, we're going to approve $500,000 for the spare parts, and we maintain the inventory, so we don't have to go back to, if it's something breaks, come back to the council, get it approved, then again we move on, because it does cause a delay in the process, right? This council will now approve, it will take 2 more weeks to be in effect, purchase order will go out, it will take another month to come back. So we can probably speed up the process. Again, not a question for today, but we should talk that, how do we streamline this process?
It may vary from item to item. We do create blanket purchase orders for some of the mechanics between sewer and DPW. But at this juncture, because it is a new utility, we've been buying as we go or renting. So this is just one of the main big purchases that we're trying to make, but it varies, so.
Thank you. Thank you, Council President.
Thank you, sir. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none. 14 from the Chief of Fire, approval of volunteer firefighter. Any questions or comments? Hearing none. 15 from the council member of the Planning Board, Councilman Patel.
The next meeting is February.
Council President, you skip 14.
As I said, my apologies again. Having a rough day. 14 from the Township Clerk. A, resolution authorizing the sale of 1 plenary retail distribution liquor license and further authorizing the Township Clerk to advertise for bid proposals for the same. Any questions or comments? Hearing none. Now to the council member of the Planning Board.
Well, the first meeting is on February 27th at 7 p.m., and I look forward to looking at all the paper and getting caught up with that. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. On to discussion items. I'll start to my right. Councilman Brusher.
Question, parks, Polanski Park. I know we were going to do a basketball court there. I just haven't seen an update as to when, what, and this isn't something just with this administration. This went on for the previous administration. The reason why I ask about it is that's the park across from J.P. Stevens. And I know that everybody thinks that all of our students at J.P. Stevens go to the library to study, except there's a big portion of them that want to play basketball. And we only have one broken-looking hoop thing in a parking lot. So it doesn't look like a suburban setting again. It's more like an urban setting. So could I get an update on that park? That's it for this time, Council President. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Councilman Coyle.
Thank you, Council President. First, I want to congratulate the officers who became sergeants, and the sergeants who became lieutenants, and lieutenants became captains that are here in the room and who may have not been in the room. I had a chance to observe the sergeant's ceremony. It was really nice to see. I did not attend the lieutenant's ceremony, but congratulations to all of you, men and women. Good job. I'm looking forward to your staying in town and keeping this job for the next 30 years. Some of you maybe a little less, but yeah, it's really good stuff, and I'm happy, truly proud. Council President, I just had to bring up the ordinance you pulled. Can I just make a short comment in my discussion items?
It's your discussion item, sir.
Okay, I can? Okay.
It's your discussion item, sir.
This should have stayed on the agenda, and I know it's just a matter of a timing issue of what the purpose of this property is going to be used for. I've sat on this dais for almost 8 years, and I've witnessed for the last 30 years of property we should have bought, didn't buy, what school we could have kept, didn't keep. It's always about the last-minute play at the plate we don't do. And when it comes to purchasing property, the timing is of the essence. And we know we need a location for a community center. We know someday we need a location for a school. We know someday we need a location for recreation, whether it's a cricket field or a soccer field. This is a great opportunity. Whether the mayor chooses to lean against a community center today and later it makes an opportunity with the school district to build a school, have at it. Property doesn't come up all the time, and it moves quickly. So I hope we don't lose this opportunity because we're at a stalemate. And if any council member wants a motion to put it back on the agenda, I will second that motion. Thank you, Council President.
Council President?
Yes, Councilman Brescher.
Yes, I'd just like to rebut that. I mean, I thank the administration for pulling it. We didn't get a clear, concise use for the property, except that, you know, maybe it was going to be a park, maybe it was going to be a school. The discussions with the school didn't happen, you know, so we didn't have buy-in from them. And just to buy a piece of property, I just like the public, and maybe Sonia, correct me if I'm wrong, but we're allowed, I think, $600 million that we could borrow. And I think to date, we've borrowed $200 million. We have another $100 million basically on the books that we've allocated. We just haven't used it yet. Our sewer department needs anywhere from $100 to $200 million. Our school system in the next 2 years has booked $100 million, and they're going to need probably another $80 million after that. You know, so I mean, my concern is just at the end of the day, it's like we own a home, and we're going to totally leverage it within a couple years. And I do know some of the money I heard we might get back, but unless it's in writing saying we are getting it back, it's not responsible, let's say, to go on the premise that it will be. So, you know, without having a firm need for why we needed this property at this time, thankful that they pulled it. You know, I mean, I spoke to Sonia about it. I said, if you had a firm plan, I don't have a problem with it. You know what I mean? So I'm glad that that got pulled until discussions happen and they have a clear, concise plan for what they want to do with it. So thank you.
Thank you, sir. Councilman Patel.
I just wanted to follow up on the SDL. Did they get back to us yet in terms of timeline?
We're still working on that, but just to give everybody an update, we are working through various departments to onboard everybody. What we're trying to establish is to put a link on the website so that people can go and start to work through through the actual portal through with SDL. So it is technically live. We just need to work through our IT to make sure that it's on the website.
And when would that be up?
It's a priority, so it'll be up in the next 2 weeks.
Okay, thank you.
Any other items?
No, that's it.
Thank you, sir. Councilman Patel.
Thank you, Council President. I have many items, but you know, looking at the audience, I think it's wise to give back the time to the resident to speak. They get time early on to speak. If I don't take probably half an hour to discuss my discussion items. But thank you all the police officers who are serving and protecting all of us. Just want to acknowledge. And also want to acknowledge our friends from the Board of Education. We have the board president, vice president, and the other board members. Just want to acknowledge and give back the time to the residents. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Councilwoman Ship Freeman.
Yes. While discussing, well, the ordinance that we had pulled off tonight, I do remember prior to this that Northgrave would meet with us, a couple of us an hour or so before the meetings, and he would give us a readout so I know exactly what I would be voting for when it comes to redevelopment. I missed that part of it because he would explain it to you in layman's terms and explain it so when it came to this arena, I would be able to answer you properly that way. Number two, I would like to applaud over and over again the Matthew Lee, the choir director of J.P. Stevens. He did a phenomenal job, and from his music, from the beginning to the end, it flowed, starting off with Langston Hughes, ending up with Hernandez. It was an outstanding program. You should have seen it, and you can tell why our school, J.P. Stevens, goes other places, because that's how good they are. Number two, I was very disappointed as I visited different libraries, because the amount of Black books and information, this is Black History Month, and it's just like very sad that Black history is not for me. It's for everybody to learn the accomplishments and the achievements of other people. Just like they said, the place downstairs, when you come in the building, if you just had like some posters saying achievements back and forth, so everybody can just be, you can learn stuff and you can get to know other people better, all right? And another thing, I applaud and I'm very happy with the direction in which our police department is going. Congratulations to everyone. But not just that, what I am very glad about, being on the committee for years, I'm very excited about our inclusiveness, the amount of languages we speak in this police department now. They should all give themselves a hand of applause, because we are, as a town, I feel, moving in the right direction. So, I'm a proponent for women and other people, and everybody mixed up within our community. But that's what makes everything better. You can't tell me that I'm diverse if I'm not inclusive. This is how I feel about things. And I just hope that you guys come out on Saturday, some of you. You can get your heart checked, you can get your blood pressure checked, because I know you have very high stress jobs. And I thank you so much for your service. Thank you very much.
Any other items? Council Vice President Harris.
Okay. I just want to mention that Councilman Brescher and Councilman Patil and I are going to be meeting this evening to discuss going forward now with the Public Advocate Subcommittee. We formed the committee, and so we are going to get into some discussions about scheduling and going from there. So I just wanted to let you know we're moving on this. Thank you.
Thank you. For myself, I just wanted to give a couple of thank yous. First to Sergeant Semino for her extreme diligence and rapid response to several issues that have been brought forth to her, whether it's with crosswalks, coordinating for the parking blocks on Amboy Avenue. So thank you to her and DBW for situating those. I also want to say thank you to Pat Coyle for his correspondence with PSE&G, which they removed an extensive amount of graffiti on one of their fences along Route 1. So I just wanted to express my thank you to them for their hard work and diligence. I had a conversation with Councilman Coyle a week or two ago. He goes, "What about my beautification subcommittee?" So with that, I would like to make a motion to create the ad hoc beautification subcommittee with Councilman Coyle, Councilman Patel, and Councilwoman Harris.
Motion to form the ad hoc committee.
Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Go. Would have been nice, but it's been formed. Yeah, it's formed. It'll be a nice surprise when he re-enters. So don't tell him. Congratulations on being appointed to the Beautification Ad Hoc Committee.
Imagine that.
Yeah. Also, I'd like to form an ad hoc committee. I see the gentleman in the back in regards to the deer population. So I was wondering if any of the council members up here would be interested in being a part of an ad hoc committee to look into and address the deer population situation. Well, I will certainly be on that subcommittee to assist you.
Council President,
Yes, Councilman Brusher.
can I make a recommendation?
Absolutely.
Because not this council, but the council spent, I believe it was a year, or 2 years, maybe 3 years, on this. And Bob Deal was the head of it. And since he's still, here at the township, reaching out to him, he'd probably have those very simple, answers as to what could be done. And then if that got brought back to the council, we might be able to pick one of them. Because my numbers that I heard were different than the gentleman that spoke last week, because I heard his numbers seemed actually fairly cheap to get it done.
Would you be welcome to being a part of the subcommittee to assist me in this matter?
Thank you, Council President. Yes, I would.
And I'll offer Councilman Patil. So can I get a motion for the creation of the ad hoc committee in regards to review and advise on the deer population aspect with myself, Councilman Brusher, and Councilman Patil?
Motion to form a committee for the deer population.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, that is it for myself. And with that, we will move on to the regular meeting. 17, approval of minutes. Can I get a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Council President remarks, I had made them earlier. 19, approval of volunteer firefighter. Can I get a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
20, new business. Proposed ordinances. Madam Clerk, if you can read 02172.
Ordinance authorizing the grant of a parking easement over and across a portion of Prospect Avenue and improved municipal roadway within the Township of Edison.
Can I get a motion to introduce?
Motion to introduce.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Council President.
Before we proceed, any
Council
council?
President,
council
they need to
comments?
go through the formal process of proposed introduction.
The first reading.
Yeah.
Oh, my apologies. Motion to introduce, but with the,
Introduction.
Council President, I move this ordinance to be passed on first reading, published and published according to law, and further consideration and public hearing set forth on
March 8th.
March 8th.
March 8th.
can I get a second?
Second.
And thank you, Councilman Patil, for the catch. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Councilmember Brusher.
Abstain.
Councilmember Coyle.
Yes.
Councilmember Harris.
Yes.
Councilmember Patel.
Yes.
Councilmember Patil.
No.
Councilmember Ship Freeman.
I'm abstaining, I don't have enough information.
Council President Pointer.
Yes. Madam Clerk, please read 02173.
An ordinance amending Chapter 15 entitled Property Maintenance, Section 3, Abandoned and Vacant Properties, Registration and Maintenance to conform with NJSA 40:48-2, 12S2, Notice to Municipality of Service and Foreclosure Proceedings on Commercial Property, Contents, Correction of Nuisance, Conditions, or Code Violations, Recourse Against Creditor.
Council President,
Yes, Councilman Patil.
I move this ordinance be passed on first reading, published according to law for further consideration and public hearing set down for March 8, 2023.
Second.
Thank you. So a motion by Councilman Patil, second by Councilwoman Ship Freeman. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Councilmember Brusher.
Yes.
Councilmember Coyle.
Yes.
Councilmember Harris.
Yes.
Councilmember Patel.
Yes.
Councilmember Patil.
Yes.
Councilmember Ship Freeman.
Yes.
Council President Pointer.
Yes. Next, we'll open up the public portion for comment on the resolutions only. So- Just a point of clarification, this is on the resolution, so the discussion items are in reference to the resolutions only. Thank you. Name and address, please.
Testing 1, 2. AJ Benz, Edison, New Jersey. Do I have the floor?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. So, resolution for 0.2173. I would like to have that I'm saying it correctly? O.
So
Oh.
I apologize, sir, but because it's an ordinance, it's not a part of the resolutions. We have to maintain within the resolutions. The adoption or the public comment on the ordinance would be at the next meeting, which is March 8th.
Okay. All right. Then never mind then.
Thank you, sir. Any other? Mr. Romano?
Joseph Romano, Edison, New Jersey. I realize this was pulled.
If it's in regards to an ordinance item, this is not the time to comment on that.
Okay. So I'm getting yelled at. That's good. I appreciate it. Thank you for your time. Thank you for all your help. I'm still waiting for my flowers.
Well, as appointed to the committee, we may get
Council
some.
President.
All right, we're going to make sure that we maintain order. This is on the resolutions only. Yes, Councilman Patil.
Council President, if you can make the note that, at this point in time, even if you cannot speak on ordinance, please feel free to come back to the podium and speak during the public portion on oral petition and remarks. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Patil. Any other public comments on the resolutions only? Mr. Bassoff?
Joel Bassoff, 17 Beach Lane. I have a question about 088, the disbursements. I noticed that there's nothing for law enforcement. When I walked in here, I thought with all these police officers here that they maybe came to say, where's our money? But how is it that we didn't disperse anything for law enforcement?
I would have to go to the BA on that.
There perhaps were no bills I'm not
So
sure.
how we can address the
I'm just
negative.
questioning,
Yeah.
what is is it salaries or is it for purchases? I was just curious to know, just to get an understanding of how the disbursements work.
Disbursements are on the expenditures that the township has up to a certain date, which this one is through February 17th.
Right, right. So does it include salaries and things of that nature, or is it, how is it that people haven't been getting paid in February? It was just a $0 item for that line. I was just curious to know why that is.
Council President, I think that line item will come during the appropriations.
Okay. And then there was another item about $1.5 million for trust, and I was just curious to know what that is.
I do apologize. I didn't catch the question.
Oh, also in the disbursements, there's a line item which is labeled trust, and it's, I think it was $1.5 million, and I was just wondering what that is. It was toward the bottom of the disbursements.
Yeah, no, I see it. I'm not aware of the allocation under that line item.
Right, I'm just trying to get an understanding of just, how it works.
President,
Yes.
could I just get a point of clarification? You're asking with regard to what was spent in the trust account. So in the back of the disbursements, there are a couple of things. There's the tree planting, and it's referred there. If we add all of those items up, it will go up to the 1.4. So there's various trust funds. There's a sanitation trust fund. So is there a specific trust we're referring to? So those are some of the things that are listed. It's the tree fund, it's the sanitation fund.
Yeah, I just didn't know what it was. It's one word trust, and I just didn't know what that refers to. That's all.
I'll get the clarification
yeah.
as to how they are bundled together. for you.
I'm not suggesting it's inappropriate. I'm just trying to get an understanding of what these items are. And on Resolution 094, we need more background, I believe, on what that is. First of all, there was a reference to an ACO, and a lot of us haven't been coming to meetings long enough to know what all of the abbreviations are. What did that refer to?
That stands for the Administrative Consent Agreement, and that's been worked through the DEP for the 2017 and 2019 with the sanitation sewer and the improvements that we need to make.
There were 5 stations that were required by the state to repair. The ACO was essentially the formalized agreement for us to do that, along with some financial opportunities to be able to assist in the financing of those repairs.
Okay, so on 094 with Mr. Watkins, New Jersey Community Solutions, I guess the question is, well, my understanding is that he was originally brought in to assist in transition matters, and I think we're long past that, so I think it would just be helpful to the public just to have more information on just what exactly those consulting services are and why it's still needed.
So I can give like an example in the conversation that I had with him. There's a transportation bank that is similar to the infrastructure bank that the ACO is a part of, that I know the administration is looking into for, thank you, for funding opportunities, which he has extensive knowledge in navigating.
And next time I'll ask all my questions first so that I don't run out of time. But on 106, Vision Media Marketing, I know I sent you an email. The issue there is that it's such a blatantly politically campaign brochure, it's almost counterproductive. It might be more useful if we knew, for example, that the next issue of the Edison Illuminator would be touting that the mayor was taking the initiative and establishing a public advocate. Maybe we'd change our minds about that. But for one thing, the members of the council do a great job in outreach to the public and getting the word out to the public. You're responsive. I know if someone sends you an email, you respond to them. You
Thank
show
you.
up at events.
Thank you, sir. Your time's up. And I apologize. Next time I'll make
Okay.
sure to allow for all the questions ahead of time. My
But you do
apologies,
much
sir.
better than the Edison Illuminator in getting the information out to the public, and it's
Thank you, sir.
appreciated.
Thank you, sir. Any other comments on the resolutions? Yes.
Good evening. Mary Ann Hennessy, Carmelo Drive. I have a very simple question to the council president, to whoever is supposed to answer it. Please, a simple explanation. What is a street opening escrow? I keep seeing them appearing on all of the meetings. I have no idea what they are. If someone could give me a concise explanation, I would appreciate it.
I'll take a shot at it.
Thank you. I thought I was going to have birds in the tree. Thank you.
No, but when you're going to open up a street, and David, I'm sure will correct me if I'm wrong, but if you're going to open up a street to do a sewer connection or a water connection or anything of that type of point, or you're going to, let's say, put a new curb line in for your driveway, since you're going to disturb the roadway, we require you to put money up to make sure that the repair of the road is done correctly. And then I believe it's the engineering department goes out and makes an inspection, and they actually send us pictures of that so that we could verify it. I mean, in the past, we didn't get pictures, and then you'd see kind of shoddy work, but we've been getting pictures so we can see that the repairs were done properly. And then the people get their money back for that opening up the road. Otherwise, the town will take their money, and the town will do the repairs. Correct, Sonia?
So in other words, is this, it's going to come out of the blue, but when you're talking about opening a street to repair a sewer line, et cetera, Does this ruling also apply to the township when they open it?
Yes.
But the township doesn't post any funds for themselves. So the town is required to patch the roads as per our our ordinances.
But when you're not a township truck, when they hire like Kramer to come
Yes.
in to work on it because it's something that we can't do they also have to do this opening, or just because they're fixing something for the town, it doesn't apply?
Okay, David's not here, but right, he left there.
In one liner, the whole escrow is financial protection for the township / taxpayers against if contractor or any entity who opens the road doesn't do their job. So township can use that money and take care of those repairs. As far as the township is concerned, because township is the entity who issues that final inspection report, they are liable anyway. So if they're not doing their job, you should bring it to the attention to the council president, and I'm pretty sure job will be taken care of.
I was just curious because I keep seeing this sentence appear more than once and never knew exactly what it discussed, so I thought I would bring it up. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you, Councilman Brescher and Councilman Patil, for the explanations. Any other comments on the resolutions only? Seeing none, can I get a motion to close the public portion?
Motion to close the public portion?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
With that, I'll start from my right. Anything to be pulled for a separate vote?
093, 095, and 106.
So it was 93, 95, and 106, correct?
That's correct.
And 106. Councilman Coyle?
None, sir.
Thank you. Councilman Patel?
None, sir.
Councilman Patil?
None, sir.
Councilwoman Ship Freeman?
No.
Council Vice President Harris?
None, sir?
And none on my end. Can I get a motion to approve the consent agenda R088 through R092, R094, R096 through R005, and R017, which means that R093, R095, and R106 would be pulled for a separate vote.
Motion to approve?
Seconded.
Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Councilmember Brescher.
Yes.
Councilmember Coyle.
Yes.
Councilmember Harris.
Yes.
Councilmember Patel.
Yes.
Councilmember Patil.
Yes.
Councilmember Ship Freeman.
Yes.
Council President Pointer.
Yes. Councilman Brescher, would you like to do these individually or all together?
Individually, if we could.
Absolutely. R093. Would you like to make any comments or anything regards?
No, I mean, I'm just waiting on the information that we're going to get for it, so I wanted that for a separate vote. Without the information, I want to abstain.
Okay. With that, any other questions or comments in regards to R093? Hearing none, can I get a motion to approve?
Motion to approve?
Second.
Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Councilmember Brescher.
Abstain.
Councilmember Coyle.
Yes.
Councilmember Harris.
Yes.
Councilmember Patel.
Yes.
Councilmember Patil.
Yes.
Councilmember Ship Freeman.
Yes.
Council President Pointer.
Yes. R095, competitive contracting for network transit service. Councilman Brescher?
Yes. I just wanted to reiterate my comments from before that I think we're going down a dangerous road of turning our suburban neighborhood into an urban neighborhood. Councilman Patel, you pointed out that we had it in 2011, and I do remember we did try this. It wasn't used or cost effective, so they eliminated it at the time, which I was happy because, like I continue saying, if I was looking to move to a community that had busing, right, I would move to that community. I chose this community knowing that there was no busing, knowing that I had this suburban feel, and I'd like to continue it in that manner. You know, if there's ever a time that I feel like I'm looking for a bus services or whatever it is, I'll move to that community. But I'd like to maintain the integrity of the community that we have currently. Thank you.
Council President?
Thank you. Any, Councilman Patel?
Council President? Oh,
I just want to say that I like the community, but I also feel that there are people in the community that do not have cars or they cannot drive, and I would like them to have the mobility to get around. And I think this will be a start. I don't think it'll be a negative impact to the community. I think it'll be a plus. And that's why I'm supporting this.
Thank you, sir. Councilwoman Ship Freeman?
well, my concern is with the transportation system that I'm looking for ways for the senior citizens to get around and to get places, and pertaining to that and obtaining grants to secure our senior citizens to be able to move around this town and also to go other places when it's dark at night, when they, don't want to drive because of their vision. And that's why I think transportation is important for seniors. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, can I get a motion to approve?
A motion to approve?
Second.
Motion to approve, Councilman Patel, second by Councilman Coyle. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Councilman Brescher.
No.
Councilman Coyle.
Yes.
Councilmember Harris.
Yes.
Councilmember Patel.
Yes.
Councilmember Patil.
Yes.
Councilmember Ship Freeman.
Yes.
Council President Pointer.
Yes. R106, Councilman Brescher?
Yes. I heard my council colleagues' comments were his interaction with the residents. He felt that the illuminator was something that was good. My interaction with the residents, the word propaganda gets brought up and things of that nature. I watched the council flame a mayor one time for $65,000 for leaf bags, but at least the leaf bags, we use those. So, I guess at that time people were concerned about, spending in dollars and at that time. And yes, to me, it's just, I don't see the need for it. If the mayor and the council people are out there in the community, I don't know why you have to put a flyer out. So that's just my opinion. Thank you.
Council President?
Yes, Councilman Patel?
I believe during any election times, we all send out flyers, and I understand the reason for it, and that is communication. A good communication is good to building a good relationship. And I think Illuminator serves that purpose, and I think it's important we have good communications with the residents. And I believe this is money well spent. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments?
Council President, I just
Yes.
can't emphasize again, we spent equally or more throughout the last 10 years, and we didn't get anything mailed to us. So we're spending the same amount of money, and we're getting something updated on what the taxpayers are seeing being spent on. So I think it's I hear good comments all the time. I mean, I think they can make a couple bigger pictures of Rich and I on there, that's about it. But, that's what I hear from my neighbors. They like it. Thank you, Council President.
Council President?
Yes, Councilwoman Ship Freeman?
With the illuminating stuff, with us having, I just think that with us sending out the illuminator, maybe we can get together with the Board of Ed and have like a page inside, insert. Then it wouldn't cost double the amount of money. Put an insert in for the Board of Ed and put down all their things. So a lot of people didn't know that they were having different concerts going on different places. So if you do an insert like that, I think it'll come out that much better. That's just my opinion.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments?
Council President?
Yes, Councilman Patil?
Thank you, Councilwoman. That's where, when I made the comment during the work session, if we can have all the entities, the government entities included in the illuminator, that will be a great thing to do. But the reason I'm supporting this one is, yes, if there is an issue with the content, I think this council can put forward what we would like to see in that illuminator. And I think we should step up and do our job so that, this will be useful to the residents. Again, thank you, Council President.
Thank you, Councilman Patil. Any other questions or comments? For myself, I know that it's been mentioned that the purposes in regards to the illuminator, my understanding is that they do a little bit more in regards to our communications and outreach to the community. The other item that I would just like to mention is that this extension is not for the entire year. It's a 2-month extension, not to exceed of $5,000 per month. So I just wanted to make those comments. With that, can I get a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Second?
A motion to approve. Motion by Council Vice President Harris, second by Councilman Patel. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Brescher.
No.
Councilmember Coyle.
Yes.
Councilmember Harris.
Yes.
Councilmember Patel.
Yes.
Councilmember Patil.
Yes.
Councilmembership Freeman.
Yes.
Council President Pointer.
Yes. All right. At this time, I'd like to open up to oral petitions and remarks. We have a list. I do apologize. I'm unable to read the first name. Oh, Mr. Diamond.
Stepping out of my barrel. Diamond 74 Calvert. As to, thank you so much, honey. I feel like my wife came with me. Ordinance 2172. I watch an awful lot of zoning and council and planning board meetings, and I believe that I don't believe that the zoning board can give an approval and then say to the town, we approve this, you have to approve this variance to go along with this. I think when variances or things like that come up that requires the town to act on behalf of the applicant, they tell them, well, you go to the town and ask for what you want. So I don't think it's a done deal. I don't even understand how the zoning board could require you to provide this. Your turn.
I'm sorry, no, they didn't require it. They said it was a requirement that they make the application to this council. So they can't, you're absolutely right, Bruce.
Okay,
They cannot
so-
require it. Yeah.
So y'all are not required to approve this. The guy asked the zoning board for this.
Correct.
The zoning board said, go to the town, and now you've got his approval. It's up to you. You do
Correct.
not have to approve this without the conditions you want associated with this. And if it's a a sunset provision or a buyout provision, that's up to you. You don't have to just approve it. Thank you.
Thank you. Joel Bassoff.
Thank you. Joel Bassoff, 17 Beach Lane. First of all, I have a tale of two billboards. There was a zoning board meeting last night, and the zoning board, to its credit, denied the application for a digital billboard along the turnpike near Old Poster Road in the Edison lockup self-storage facility. There was a similar billboard case last year involving the same company that proposed a billboard on Route 287 near New Durham Avenue, and the zoning board also denied that. But I think these cases are going to play out differently, because in the previous case, the residents who turned out en masse to object to the billboard didn't have any professionals representing them. The billboard company appealed to Superior Court, and the Superior Court ordered the zoning board to grant the variance. In this case, the residents reached into their pockets to hire a professional planner who gave very effective testimony, and if that variance denial is appealed, they'll probably fare better in court as a result of having a professional witness testify on their behalf. But what's important is that the residents had to reach into their own pocket at great sacrifice to hire that professional. They got no support from the township. And after they've been maintaining their homes, paying taxes on their homes for all those years, in order to protect their homes and their well-being and their quality of life and their property values, they should have had the assistance of the township. I have another question about what happened in December. The police promotion ordinance was repealed, And I guess the question is, what was that, or what is that going to be replaced with? Because I thought that the idea of having promotion policies and procedures in the ordinance was to ensure that everything would be maintained on a professional basis, and it was helpful to the police officers who were seeking promotions, and it was helpful to the public in ensuring us that we would continue to have the best police department that one could possibly have. So I have a question about that. And then as to the ordinance, the proposed ordinance that was pulled for the purchase of the Birchco property, I think we just need more background as to what that was all about. What were the possible plans for the property, and how was the $9 million purchase price arrived at? And I would just note that it would remove from the tax rolls a piece of property that is producing, I think, about $35,000 or $36,000 in tax revenue each year. And if the township doesn't have specific plans for the property, why would we want to spend the money to acquire it and to give up the tax revenue?
Any other questions before I allow the chief to address your promotion question?
Actually, I did have a couple of questions on, I know you already approved it, but I just wanted some background as to what some of the professional services contracts. There was one for an insurance broker, and my understanding is that the township self-insures, so I was just wondering what that was for. And just give me a moment. There was also one for, oh. Okay, well, I'll send an email if I continue to have a question about that. But I was wondering, since we self-insure, why we're paying an insurance broker.
Sure, we have a broker, we have to maintain a broker in order to go out and buy the insurance we are self-insured because we're not part of the state health benefits. So we have a broker who seeks out those quotes in order for us to get a better pricing.
And Chief Bryan, if you mind addressing the promotion question?
Yes, thank you for the kind words towards our police department, sir. I really appreciate it, and I'm sure they do also. In our form of government, it is not required that the promotional process be etched in ordinance. It is an operational rule.
1 minute left.
Okay. Is there a rule?
It was an operational order, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And next on the list, Alias.
They're doxing me. I put my name down as Alias. Thank you. Am I recognized?
I'll request name and address.
Why are you requesting my name and address when it's against New Jersey state law? Am I recognized?
You're recognized.
Thank you. Again, so here we got the metal detector out here. I believe the metal detector's out there because the councilwoman was killed. So the Sayreville councilwoman was killed. The judge's son was killed. Yet you're still asking for people's name and addresses. Not only you're violating your oath of office, you're violating New Jersey state law. Lawyer, why are you allowing the council president to violate New Jersey state law? Can you answer that for me?
Why don't you get out all your questions and then we'll respond,
Okay.
if necessary.
Number one, to the council president, to Councilman Brescher. Councilman Brescher, are you aware that your council president routinely calls people out of order? It's not his job to call people out of order. It's your job to rule on it. Someone else is supposed to call the point of order. So, you don't even know how to be council president. The state of the address is coming up the 28th. The last time I was here on the state of the address, making my normal public comments, you had Mr. Coyle over there kept on having the police surround me for no reason. Can I come in to the next meeting without fear of being surrounded for no reason, sir? Thank you. You gave, the definition you gave for rebuttal is not even the real definition that we have here in Edison Township. The one that you stated sounds more like the rebuttal for the Board of Education. You can make a rebuttal here. The rebuttal that you can make here is it can be on public comments and public comments on the resolutions. And that's just how it is. And then you say you can remove people who are so-called out of order. The last time you told me I was out of order 5 times, but I wasn't out of order. So, makes no sense to me. If these officers come here, their children come here to want to speak at the podium, they don't have to give their name and address, but you're coercing them to give their name and address. You're threatening to violate people's First Amendment right if they don't give up their Fourth and Fifth Amendment rights. Why is that? Lawyer, can you explain that to the public?
Can't explain what you just said, no.
I'll tell you again what I just said. Their children don't have to come up here and give their name and address, but if their children were to come up here and try to speak, your council president would coerce them to give their name and address. So what I'm saying is he's willing to violate people's First Amendment rights if they don't give up their Fourth and Fifth Amendment rights. It never made any sense to me. Given this year, he's allowing me to go through, but last year I made sure to give my name each and every time because I knew what the conspiracy was. You were going to order them to remove me and claim I was violating some BS law that I'm not even violating. How much time do I have left, Marlena? Thank you very much. So a judge's son was killed. A Sayreville councilwoman was killed. And you're putting not just Edison residents at risk, but anyone that might come from Edison, that their family member might be a police officer, prosecutor, and a judge. Are you going to, at the next meeting, continue asking people for their names and address, even though it's against New Jersey state law? Are you aware when you rebroadcast the cop's name and address right there, you've 100% violated the Daniels law because you're rebroadcasting on a government website? Edison TV is a government website, is it not? Lawyer, is Edison TV a government website? How much time do I have left, Marlena? Well, 1.5 minutes. God bless America. Your law office keeps denying all my legitimate records requests. Absolutely ridiculous. I ask that you cease and desist when I come to the next meeting on the 28th, that when I start speaking to Mayor Sam Joshi, that you don't say it has to be on the budget. Because every single meeting has to have public comments at the end. Otherwise, they're violating the Open Public Meetings Act. How much time do I have left, Marlena? God bless America. John Pointer. You really need to learn how to do your job. I wish I don't see you call someone out of order again. You got a whole row of council people to do that. And yeah, you don't care for your job. You violated your oath of office. You don't care for the U.S. Constitution. You don't care for the New Jersey State Constitution. You don't care for Robert's Rules of Order, all of which you took an oath to, which is why I'm going to file an ethics complaint on you for violating all that. Does anyone up there on the council like to speak to him when this meeting's done and say to him, hey, stop asking people for their name and address? You know, every time I had to give my name and address to Coyle, it ripped the insides out of me. It was like, I didn't want to do it. Why do I have to do something I'm not legally required to do? It's like you're spitting in my face. It's like I'm some mere mortal.
Speaker's time has elapsed,
that has
Council
to do the
President.
master's wishes.
Speaker's time has elapsed.
I know that, sir.
to our attorney. Would you like
Yes,
to
that-
give some?
Certainly. I'll explain the name and address. In any council meeting across the state of New Jersey, we ask for the name and address of the speakers, mostly for the clerk, because the clerk has to create minutes of this meeting, and we like to have a record. Council President, it's been your practice and the practice of council presidents before you to ask for a name and address. If an individual from the public believes that they have a reason not to give their name and address, we have not denied any speaker the right to speak. If an officer or a prosecutor or a judge wanted to speak and believed that they did not have to give their name under Daniel's law, we would never require them to do so, and we would still allow them to speak. So there is no coercion. It's merely a request of the presiding officer, in this case, the council president. If an individual believes that they have a legal basis not to do so, we would not deny them the opportunity to speak. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. With that, we are off the list. Mr. Romano.
Joseph Romano, Edison, New Jersey. I
Thank you, sir.
apologize for speaking out of turn. I'm really new at this. I've never done this before. Well, that's a lie. The ordinance that was pulled back in 2004, I don't know if anybody on the council was there in 2004, but that property was vacant in 2004, and they decided to build, or they were trying to build, a small convenience store, and I guess that fell through. I think they ran out of money. And the other option was through the mayor at that time. They went to the mayor, and the mayor said, I don't have any money to give you to buy that land. But the mayor did say, you could put like a volleyball net or 2 volleyball nets, a tennis court, a cricket pitch there. But we, the township, they cut the funding. And I'm hearing, rumors about we got $9 million that we're going to give to a real estate company or some person that owns that property that I don't think anybody told them they can't build a small little convenience store or build like a cricket pitch or tennis court, or how about a nature preserve or like a walking path? I mean, the property does have some value to the residents of that neighborhood. So I understand it was pulled. I'd like to know if there's some sort of plan to take, and what would they like to have done? I mean, if the realtor or the property owner was given the option to develop that property, I don't see why X amount of dollars from the township, not for nothing. I mean, like, you could spend $2.5 million on a piece of property at the end of Silver Lake, and then turn it over to the county so the county can give the person money to make it open space, I think. Or like May Street, there's a piece of property on May Street that it's been vacant for years. They tried to give it actually tried to sell it to the Board of Ed, and it's too small. But this piece of property is like 9 acres or 11 acres with 3, 9 acres of, like, accessible, but it's too small for a school. I was just curious, why would we want to take as taxpayers, pay that kind of money, unless you were going to build like a park or a cricket pitch or tennis courts or basketball nets or volleyball nets. I mean, the neighborhood really could use that because, not for nothing, the neighborhood does a lot of walking, and we just heard, busing. We don't want buses going up and down the road. I mean, that would be a great place, for the residents to have a place to recreate. So, once again, I apologize for getting up out of turn. Like I said, I'm really new at this. So, if anybody remembers 2004, 2005, 2006, property was empty then. Why do we want to give this person a gift? If you want to give a gift of $9 million back to the taxpayers. Have a nice day. Thank you very much for allowing me to speak.
Thank you, sir. To our attorney, if you'd like
Certainly.
to address one of the
I'll do my
items.
best to kind of explain. I know there's a lot of interest in the item that got pulled this evening. And this was under the Department of Law, so I'll speak on it, but from my conversations with the administration, there is definitely interest in that 9.5 acre parcel. I think there's a lot of great uses, at least the administration's identified many great uses for that location. However, I think that's to the point made by Councilman Coyle, it's a great location. However, to the point made by Councilman Brescher, the administration wants to bring this back when there's a more fully formed idea as to specifically how to use that property. So that's why the item was pulled this evening. There's definitely interest in the location, but the question is, what is the best use of it? And I think that it will return at the time when there is a more fully formed idea as to what should be at that location, so the council can make an informed decision when it makes a decision on whether to authorize the purchase of the property.
Thank you, sir.
Can I, so we're just going to buy it and then we come back later on and say something else about it?
No, I think that's what, I'm saying that's why it was pulled this evening. It was pulled because the administration wants to come back with a fully formed idea as to the best use, a proposed use for that property. Even though right now, I think they've identified many good uses for that location. It will only come back to this body for approval when they have a clear idea of how they want to move forward.
So we're going to have a clear and concise reason of us spending $9 million for that
Exactly.
property.
Not only we're doing it, but we're doing it for this reason, and this is the use that the administration foresees for that. I think at that time, it will come back to council. And that's why, even though they think right now, that the administration thinks it's an excellent location for a lot of good uses, a lot of good public uses, they want to sort of whittle it down to the best one and bring it back to council for consideration. And that's why it was pulled this evening.
Okay, thank
Yeah.
you. Because I just wanted to know, because we had 15 million down at Silver Lake and 9 million here. I'm just trying to count up the money.
Thank you. Mr. Shi?
Jerry Shi, Finch Court. I'm so glad to see all the officers here, and congratulations to all of them that got promoted last week, and congratulations to all the volunteer firefighters, and thank you for your service. I just want to make a couple comments on the resolution. One is Resolution 95 about the transit services. Mr. Brescher mentioned about the effectiveness of the service. Do we have any plans that we're going to evaluate the return on the investment for this kind of service? And the other thing is about the 106, about the communication consulting services. It's $10,000. It's just for the consulting service. Do you guys know how much it costs to send out that piece of material that in my opinion, doesn't have a lot of values? The main reason that we are here is for the property on Talmadge. I was a little bit disappointed that they got pulled, but I also see a reason why it was pulled. And the board, we have heard rumors that the mayor was going to give that property to the board ed. And then I heard that you're going to put build some recreation facilities before you give it to the board ed. And this mayor has a tendency of put the cart in front of the horse, okay? So if they want to give the property to the school board, make sure the school board is on the deed first before you start announcing it. So, I hope that they will come back with some kind of resolution. And as you said, we need a clear plan of what this property is going to be. If it's a recreation, don't say you're giving it to the board. Whenever you give it to the board, ready to put the board name on the deed, then you give it to the board. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Sweeney?
Rich Sweeney, 313 Sutton's Lane. I have no problem giving my name and address. If you want my birth certificate, I'll give you that too. All due respect, the last meeting I was at, and it was I'm lost for words here, but you try to sit me down. The thing is, I'm starting to forget things, so I wanted to thank Officer Semino. I mean, it's unbelievable how the tractor trailers stopped coming down the road. I don't know what she did. But but another thing is, I've always praised, and I've been coming to these chambers for 30 years. I've always praised the Edison Police Department. We do. Council Vice President, I back you up. We do have the best police department in the state. I don't know about the country, but I know in the state. I'm here for, something that's got me in the heart. I may get a little emotional. I have an 11-year-old neighbor. She was diagnosed with a brain tumor, and it's cancerous. And it's a beautiful family. The father's involved in the football. I believe he's the vice president. The mother's a PTO member at John Marshall School. And this child needs our support as a town. I usually don't get emotional, but I am because, she's my next-door neighbor, and I see this kid run to school every day. And I would just like, if the council would, have the camera take a picture of the website so people can donate to this GoFundMe. I was never a fan of GoFundMe. I am today. Can he get a picture of this?
He has it.
And the web is www.fightforally.com. It really gets me at the heart. I have an 11-year-old granddaughter, and it's such a beautiful kid. The other thing is, I like that flyer that came to the house in the mailbox. It tells you what's going on in town. Everybody doesn't turn on the stupid phone or the computer, and I thought it was a very nice thing to see who's in the picture, who's involved, and that kind of stuff. Not just some writing across the screen of a dumb phone, But please, Edison residents, please support this child. Thank you.
Councilman Pointer, my name is Raj Nagarajan. I live in Heritage Drive in Edison, New Jersey.
Thank you, sir.
I don't normally come here to talk. I do get involved in the community, but I had to come here because I should thank you all. Because if you didn't have live streaming, I would not have come here, right? My passion is, making sure the animals have a place in Edison as much as we do, okay? So that is why I'm here, but I have other topics to talk about, right? First of all, I want to congratulate you, John Pointer, as well as Margot Harris for your promotion as the president and the vice president. Okay. The first topic I want to bring up today is about the JMI school. We have McKinley Avenue right behind JMI school, right? And people keep speeding. For the last 2 years, we have taken videos and sent it to the Edison police, sent it to the previous mayor. I've also sent it to Sam, right? I've not sent it to the council, but I'm here to ask to make sure the kids are safe because Several deers have died. There have been several accidents on McKinley Avenue. The problem is that you don't have too many people there. So when too many people are not there, the cars come by like maybe 1 or 2 every 15 minutes or so, and they drive at 40, 50 miles an hour. And it's too dangerous if kids were walking there, right? And there was a there was a crosswalk missing. I made sure I talked to the DPW and put it in. And also what I had requested is if you can put in like a speed bump or some kind of a flash sign there so we could save the kids. Because people do use that to get into JMI. So I want the council as well as the police chief, Thomas Bryan, to look into it. And the second thing I want to talk about is the deers, right? We do not have to do anything to the deers because right next to us is the Union County, and they have deer hunting pretty often, okay? And as this town, many deers have died. There's no need for us to take action. They die every day on the road, right? And it would be a waste of money for us to go after these deers because the deer population has dwindled, right? And they also walk by the electric tower and poles, right? And they go to other towns, right? So we shouldn't be, focusing on that. And we are more of an animal-friendly town. And I know of so many friends and neighbors. I know there's an ordinance you shouldn't be feeding the deers, but everybody does, especially in North Edison. Okay, even if you try to kill these deers, they'll try to save it, right? So please think about this before you do anything, right? The third thing I want to bring up is about the public advocate. People are making a big deal of it, right? Especially in a divorce court, if you go and if you're a pro se, what happens there is you have a pro bono lawyer who doesn't represent you. All they do is they tell you what the law is, what you need to do, and what you can do, right? So without liability, I think you guys can still think about having an advocate, right, which is paid for by the taxpayers, where we could go and ask them about the municipal land law, right, and ask them about any clarifications, but they wouldn't represent us, right? That wouldn't harm any of us. I think you should really think about that, right? And the last thing is I want to congratulate all the officers who got promoted. I really want to thank the police chief, Thomas Bryan, because of many times my alarm has gone off. I've had several people check on me and on my kid, and it's amazing. People keep complaining about police, right? When something happens, when there's a 911 call made, I have had people come to my home within 5 minutes. And that is not the response I've heard from my friends in other towns, okay? So let's respect what we have, right? And thank the officers for what they do every day, right? They put their lives in harm's way, and we should recognize it, and we should thank all these officers, okay? Thank you.
Thank you, sir. As a request, just because we're kind of hearing a lot of side conversations up here, if we can just keep it at a minimum, please. Thank you.
Council President?
Yes, Councilman Brusher?
Yes, I just, I mean, some of the things here, I understand. But one question I have, and it's to the chief. Like I noticed residents come and they voice their concerns about traffic. I know a couple years ago we fully funded the police department, right? So you could then reinstitute like the traffic division. And any time that somebody's brought something to your attention, it's been like an immediate response, that you've had your guys take care of, or women too. But is there a way that they could do that where they didn't necessarily have to come to like a council meeting and tell us, almost like a pothole kind of thing? When they notice something happening in their neighborhood, is there something on the website or anything like that we could do?
Absolutely. I receive emails, on a daily basis. So does the deputy chief. So that is one way to connect with. If you go to the website, you can email me directly or the deputy chief, or one of the commanders. So we do get those often, Councilman Brusher, and we do address it. The Traffic Bureau does a great job, and
they do.
Not only are we reactive, but we are proactive also.
No, I do see that, but
Appreciate
right, people have come up and. Right, I was thinking if there was a way that they could communicate, but email's great.
Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. And yes.
Ellen Arthur, Edison, New Jersey. I don't want to miss the spray. Ellen Arthur, Edison, New Jersey. I have 3 issues that I just want to ask the question about. The status of the senior citizens building If it is open, when did it open? And how, if it reopened rather, when did it reopen? And how is the community made aware that it is open?
Yeah, get all questions out. Yeah.
You want me to do the next
If it's
one?
okay, just to ask the questions ahead of time. We're doing where it cuts into your time, so I want to make sure you ask all your questions.
My
Thank you.
next issue is, someone mentioned a flyer regarding the activities that go on in this town. I'm not aware of, not that I personally would be, but the development where I live and the community that I live in, we haven't received such flyer. I don't know anything about it. So anyway, and my third issue is that this gentleman asked regarding the policy and procedure for promotions when it regard the police officers to sergeants or whatever. And you mentioned that there was some kind of etched in order or ordinance and code. Can you just clarify that for me? Because am I hearing you saying it's a random selection? That's
I just want to make sure. Do you have any other questions before I let
that's
them?
just those three things.
Okay, thank you. Sonia, can you address the senior center and then Chief Bryan in regards to the policy and procedure?
Sure. At several council meetings leading up to I provided a brief report regarding the senior building. It was opened earlier this month. It is opened. We've been in communication with the various clubs and seniors that frequent that building. So there was some reporting in the meantime, but it is opened, and you're welcome to go through to the building.
How would other seniors, other than this, members of these clubs, be aware that it's open? That
We
they
have a
would
contact list of the seniors. If you'd like to be added to that list, you can provide me with your information. I can give you my card, and we certainly provide, if you have an email or a number, we can add you to that or any other senior.
I'm not just looking out for me personally, but how would other seniors in the town be aware of it?
If you have some names, I can certainly put them on and make sure that they get the communication, a call or an email.
I don't think that's my responsibility to give you the names. Is there, we only have 15% of this town that are senior citizens, and I'm sure somebody knows who they are.
Council President?
Yes, Councilwoman Chip Freeman.
Yes, I would like to do more research on that area, because if in the area that she lives, and there's a bunch of seniors there also, we got to find out why they're not getting the illuminator. We have to find that out. Right. And we have to find out about other pockets of senior. We have to find out.
I don't want to be rude, and I apologize, Councilwoman Chip Freeman.
Yes.
The side conversations have to be reduced down. They're just starting to become disruptive up here. Thank you, Councilwoman Chip Freeman.
You know, and we have to reach out to other parts of towns, the other part of town, to get some of this information. And I like to reach out also with the community policing, because they have like a better hold on who lives in different neighborhoods, because the police seem to get around more than I do. So I enlisted some help from them, and plus get some other information. We will try to get the information that we need to make sure all our seniors are taken care of, Ms. Arthur.
That's my issue.
All right.
And to Chief Bryan.
Thank you, Council President, and thank you for your question. So the process is such that it is not random. Each officer that is eligible competes for promotion, whether it be sergeant, lieutenant, or the captain's rank, which many officers did. There were upwards of 62 that competed for the sergeant's rank, 18 for the lieutenant's rank, and several for the captain's rank. So there is a process.
Can I just ask you, when you say competed, what was the competition?
Well, each officer competes within the process before a panel and has to answer questions.
Oh.
Exactly. So there is an extensive process.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you.
And if we can just afterwards get the general area where you're saying the literature is not being delivered, we'll look into fixing that. Thank you. Yes, Ms. Payne?
Hi, Shannon Payne. We have actually four school board members here tonight. The reason we're President, Vice President Jerry, and Mo Hing. The reason we're here, actually, we recently just found out that the purchase of the Talmadge was on the agenda. Of course, I am very excited because we know that Mayor Joshi has had multiple conversations with the school administration about giving the land to the school board, to our schools. And tonight we only came out here to find out that it was pulled from the agenda. Not sure why, but I want to find out, is that conversation ever happened between the mayor and the council about how to use the property?
Can I just ask a question?
Just quick answer.
Are you okay with us answering? I just want to make sure we address any and all questions.
Yeah, just very quick answer.
Sure,
I
to
know
our
your
attorney.
council might time.
Just a question, because it's important. Are you speaking tonight in your official capacity
No,
as a
just
member
as
of
my
the board?
no, just as a citizen.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure, because
Yeah.
you didn't specify when you started your comments. There has been no decision made as to a use of that property at this time. So
Was there communication between the mayor and the council?
Has there been communication with the mayor? The communication to the mayor's council is by way of the agenda, which was set this evening. There was no, this item was pulled from the agenda for further consideration. So there's no request for action, there's no request from the mayor to take any action whatsoever with regard to that property.
Okay. I'm not surprised because just like, I think there's a disconnect probably between the township and the school board, just like the recent Clara Barton Library incident. The majority of the board learned about the closing down of the library from the social media. I guess 3 board members' names were mentioned in the paper, but the majority of the board have no clue about the library closing.
Well, that's really not fair. No, because
I need to use my minutes, right? So
okay, well, you asked me a
can I
question,
just,
so
no,
I'm
I'm not asking a question anymore.
Excuse
I'm
me,
not
sir.
asking.
You're out of order.
Excuse me.
I'm not asking any question right now. I'm just making
Excuse
a
me.
comments because, as I said, there's a disconnect between the mayor, the administration, and the school board, and I'm really hoping that stops here. And for example, you guys all know we have overcrowding issue. The school is overcrowded. Our kids, our elementary kids are having their lunch in their classroom. A lot of courses cannot be opened because we simply don't have enough classroom. Gyms are so packed, and basically what the kids are doing are just jumping jacks. So if this land would be purchased and would be given to the school board, it's going to be a big help to every kid in this town, to all the residents in this town. So I hope, the conversation would start between your administration and the school board, and that would be really doing everybody a favor. And for the bigger, better goods, we are all here for the residents and for our kids. So the school board is definitely certainly ready anytime to start that communication with the mayor and with your township council. So that's all. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Council President,
Yes,
just want to
Councilor
make some remark. This is an ordinance and does goes through the process. We'll have at least 2 more. There will be the public reading, so that's where a lot of people can come and ask the questions. But again, this is not on the agenda, but the typical process. The following council meeting will get that for the further discussion, and that point in time we'll get more information. But coming back to the point about the purchase of the land, and hopefully by either next council or the next Board of Ed liaison meeting, we'll have more information, and we'll be happy to present and discuss that if at all this is flagged or tagged for the Board of Ed use. Again, we don't know yet, and that is the reason, that's exactly the reason this was pulled from the agenda. Just want to make it clear. Thank you, Councilor.
Thank you, sir. Frank?
Good evening. Frank Abella, 21 Oak Grove Lane, here in town. I have a number of topics that I would like to cover, except I don't have the time. The 6 minutes are not enough. So I'm going to try and highlight it since we have members of the police here, and I think 1 or 2 of the questions really go to something Mr. Brescher brought up, which basically is traffic. And part of the responsibility I think that we're going to be taking on, if I understand you, John, in this committee that's being formed to look into the deer situation is going to involve the police. Because in the towns that basically have had success in dealing with the population, they have noted the number of deer strikes that have taken place. In preparation for tonight's meeting, I went back and looked at 6 or 7 of the appearances that took place since 2017. In fact, my first appearance here happens to be 6 years to the day, in which the coalition on 21 under 21 houses on Oak Grove Lane basically came forth and talked about the deer problem. Since then, not too much has been done. We've had consultants. We've had them from all walks. We've had them defending, in some ways, the rights of the deer against the rights of the citizens. So it's been a balanced kind of approach in terms of the consultations that the town has received. But we're going to need a much more powerful way of being able to deal with this, because this problem is not going away. In fact, the admission to that is contained in the April 9th, 2018 presentation of Dr. Anthony DiNicola from a nonprofit organization that he heads, is probably the finest in the United States. He's been doing it for 30 years. And it's a presentation which basically goes to the costs. It goes to the differences between Edison and other towns. We have a real problem in Edison that is not replicatable by other suburban areas that have gone urban. So we need to take the best minds we possibly can, John, in this committee that you're forming, and I'm glad to be a part of it. I know that there's other people who basically share my sympathy. In fact, I met with Bob Deal in May of last year. And at that time, the issue was going to be addressed by then Council President Coyle, and also by Jay Elliott, who was the health official, because of the tick infestation as well as the COVID that are reported to have been found in South Jersey. Deer carry COVID, something new to me then. They're also now carrying a different type of tick than just the Lyme disease tick. So we have a health official need to be part of this committee. We need the police. In fact, in Princeton, they had 342 deer killed about 8 to 10 years ago, before they went and to look at how to harvest the population of deer. I don't know if you keep record here as to how many have been killed and the roadkill that takes place, but if there is a statistic, it would be very helpful, because it would probably show where most of the deer are, if they fall pretty close to where they've been struck by cars or trucks. And God forbid they get struck and someone actually gets really hurt. So it's my intent to try and involve the business administrator. I think you were asked at one point to actually look into, I can give you the various dates. I went through all the town council meetings since 2017 to find out when deer were mentioned. I'm not the only citizen who had brought the issues to the fore. So I think it's an issue, and it requires a lot of attention from a more widened group as this committee is being formed. On the subject of traffic, since we have you here as well, the last meeting 2 weeks ago, I commented on the need to address the issue of a left-hand turn coming from the Edison Tower on Christie Street onto Route 27, which to me is just a disaster looking to happen. And I don't know whether or not that's within the purview of the police department and the traffic people to do, but I would love to be able to hear if there is a solution to that problem. I'd like to hear it. And with that, I guess the other point, last time when I was here, we talked about the need to have a health official. I understand that a health director is to be appointed sometime within the next couple of weeks, maybe even this week. And that would be a very big plus. I think that person, if Bob Deal is to be believed, should be a part of this effort as well. because we have health issues, we have traffic and control issues, and we have just the ordinary amount of the fact that the deer are overpopulating, and to the degree that we can do something about it, I think it's time that we do.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Worker?
Council President?
Yes, Councilman Brescher?
Yes, I just want a question to the chief. This came up before about that Christie Street and making the left. Is that a solid double yellow line on Route 27 at that point?
I'm not sure myself particularly because I haven't been in that area in quite a while. I certainly can check, but anytime that a problem with traffic is identified, we have our traffic bureau go out or even our patrol bureau go out, and it's what's called selective enforcement and directed patrol to that area. So for example, if people are going through the stop sign and causing a hazardous condition there, we'll deploy our officers there to enforce the traffic rules there.
But if there's a solid double yellow line, and I might be wrong, can you cross over 27 through the solid double line and then make a left? Or would that be like an illegal turn of some kind?
Well, usually if there's a solid double on the main highway, you can turn left, you can turn onto that. So, but we'll certainly address it, and I'll send my traffic bureau up there and research it.
Thank you, Chief.
Welcome.
Yes, Ms. Orchid.
I'm Maria Orchid, 83 Jefferson. I think we need a public advocate to speak up for the residents in both the planning and the zoning. I'd like to thank everyone that has donated to beautiful Edison. Our blankets went to the homeless shelters. We are still have the women and men's clothing that go to the area thrift stores. If anyone has any coats, we're still taking coats, collecting coats at Cypress Brewery. And thank you to everyone who's donated. Any area in Edison that needs to be cleaned up, please notify Beautiful Edison. Send us an email. We'll be happy to add to our list. And also check our website for cleanup dates. Any juniors or seniors, the National Guard on Woodbridge Main Street has free workout sessions from 5:30 to 6:30. Anyone 16 to 30 are welcome to work out for free. Happy Ash Wednesday to everyone. Please check on your seniors and disabled neighbors. Like to know the status of Silver Lake and Glendale properties? No, you mentioned the deer study. Wanted to know what is an ad hoc committee, if you could clarify. Update on the crosswalks by all Edison schools, please. I saw a flashing stop sign, and I thought, hey, that would be really great on Old Post Road and Boulevard of Eagles. Thank you for our wonderful Edison Police Department. I'd like to congratulate everyone that were promoted. We thank you for your service. We need a senior center update on the bathrooms, and why is it taking so long to get the kitchens cleaned? Please keep our overcrowded schools in your mind when you're looking over the master plan. Thank you.
Thank you. When the attorney gets back, we'll follow up in regards to Silver Lake, if that's okay. Thank you. Gentleman in the back.
How you doing? Good evening. 25 South Locust Avenue, Frank Patterson.
Thank you, sir.
Just addressing you on the, we live, some of our residents live behind Supercharge now. Was Top Golf was the problem, but now we have Supercharge. We're having some noise back there. I know I watched the meetings when they were building it. I thought everything would be good, but as things progress, you find there's little flaws going on. We have some noise with the garbage. There was a garbage pickup. They were picking up the recyclables at 4 a.m. in the morning, which is not supposed to be done. I called the manager. They took care. He called the company that wasn't getting done. I called the town. They said it's not supposed to happen. I had a meeting in the mayor's office last week. address some of the problems. So actually, after the meeting at his office, I actually went there 4 in the morning and waited for the garbage company to come. They came, I called the police addressed the garbage pickup, and they're saying now they'll stop. And we found out today they didn't pick up, so that's a good thing. The officers were very nice, and I appreciate them being nice. And so we still have noise back there. Some of the residents live right behind there. You have the garbage cans. You have this elevator they put up, which I didn't know they were putting there, and they run it till like 1 o'clock in the morning, and it's loud. 10 o'clock is quiet time. People got to go to work the next day. Again, with the trash, they have the trash bins back there. They have to look at them. The trash is right there. And they open and close the trash bins. Of course, you're going to get noise till 1 o'clock in the morning. And they put these lights back in the building, which they need lights, but they're kind of bright, and they shine in some of our neighbors' backyards. They're very bright. I guess, and I found out there's an ordinance. One of the girls found out there's an ordinance that I believe the commercial property to residential, you're supposed to put a board-on-board fence between us. Is that? I don't know if that's true. I believe it is 8 feet high. I know they always tell us they want to be good neighbors. These companies come in. I don't know if they could maybe make it 10 foot high. And I mean, the wall was great when they put the wall up for Topgolf. I mean, that did a lot with the noise. I don't know if they're going to go with that kind of money, but at least something, so they don't have to look at the garbage. One of the neighbors, she has her back door on her deck and the sliding door, and you have the guys standing outside on this elevator or stairs, and they look directly into her house. I mean, it's kind of creepy at night. People sitting outside having a smoke or whatever, throwing the garbage out, and you got somebody, you don't know if they're looking at you, but it's kind of creepy. I guess I'm just trying to address that for future. Now, we know there's going to be more buildings going on down the line, so we really have to look at this more, I think, so the neighbors, don't have all this noise. And I noticed all these buildings in that area there with the chicken place and everything, the parking lots, there's no garbage cans at any of those areas, none. So the people come from all over and they're waiting to go to Topgolf, and they're waiting to go to Supercharger. You'll see Applebee's, every, garbage, because there's no place to throw the garbage cans. So what do? They leave, they throw it on the ground. I mean, they pick it up eventually, but all this blows on Route 1, blows in our town, blows in the field. And at least, I mean, that's a cheap way. I mean, maybe if you get 50% of the people who will throw the garbage away, at least. I mean, that could help. I guess that's about it. I just want to tell you that I live on Vineyard. I walk the parks there. I'm glad the parks, I've emailed Joe about the parks. It looks nice. Finally, it looks really good. It's about time Edison started cleaning up some of this stuff. I know it's a slow process. I see them starting again to some trees and stuff, but I'm glad to see that. All right. That's about it. And some of my other neighbors are here, and they may want to come up and speak. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Council President?
Yes, Chief.
I just wanted to let Mr. Patterson know that I did speak personally to one of the owners at Supercharged because of that complaint, and we took note of the concerns tonight. I will personally touch base with that owner again. I mean, he said he would correct it before. I maybe corrected it to some degree, but obviously not to enough. So I will personally touch base with one of those owners.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome.
Council President?
Yes, Councilman Brasher?
Yes, I know that Councilman Nish, you're on the planning board. The comment about a board-on-board fence in between like a commercial and residential, could you check with someone there and see if that's true? Because I had a similar issue behind one of our police officers between their home and a commercial building where a board-on-board fence fell down, and they were looking to have it put back. So if we do have an ordinance on that, I'd then like to see if we can enforce that. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Yes.
Hello, hi. My name is Stephen Gerstner. I'm at 37 South Heathcote. Also want to talk about the Supercharge Entertainment, specifically the lights. If if you go above the first floor, second and third floor, these bright lights that shine into your house. It's 4 or 5 of what. They do it all night long. I mean, I can understand doing it to 9, 10 o'clock, but it has to go all night long to keep you up at night. Second thing is the garbage. If they could maybe build a wall around it, or just so we don't have to see it, it's an eyesore. You know, it piles up. And, you know, we're concerned that in the summer, when it gets hot, it'll start to smell, and you have rodents and stuff like that. Also, there's cars that park right in back there. It's not really a road. It's just a dirt road. They have cars parking there. And you can see the people walking in make noise. They talk loud a lot. And that's basically, I mean, I was wondering if they could, is there any kind of ordinance that they have to shut the lights off at a certain time? It's, you know, it's very bright. Something that governs that? Or?
I'll take a look at the ordinance. Nothing that comes off the top of my head, though.
Okay, I just wanted to make my concerns known.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Hennessy?
Not as an excuse, but I fell the other day, so I'm slower than I'm normally. First of all, I would like to say to the police and fire staff that's here, thank you very much for your service to the town. It's deeply appreciated, especially when you respond as quickly as you do. Thank you very, very much, and stay safe to all of you. To the chief, I would like to also ask, and not saying anything against you guys, but I'd like to see more women in the upper command if possible. I'd like them to be encouraged to keep moving forward and possibly wind up as a deputy chief at some time.
Council
Thank you.
President, we just promoted 2 women to the rank of sergeant, and
I want to go
listen,
higher.
Mrs. Hennessy, not only do our men rock, but our women rock too,
Yes,
okay?
yes, I know they
Listen,
do.
we have
Thank
more
you.
women in our department than some other agencies have in their total ensemble of police officers, so I'm very proud of our men and women.
And I am also, but I would like to get the young ladies to understand, don't stop.
They
Keep
won't.
moving forward.
They won't stop.
And for the gentlemen, you too keep moving forward. I'd like to see it an even spread between the male and female staff on the command, if possible. I also would like to ask what's happening with Silver Lake. Nothing has come out. Nobody has said anything. Are we working on getting the money? Is there a stumbling block somewhere along the line? And I would really like an answer, not just a question and I walk away. Could I have an answer on that, please? Bear with me. The property at Talmadge and Coolidge. That property was bought back in 1988 for $100. $100. If you look at the town where you can go under looking for your sewer and your water and your tax and everything, that property has changed owners. When it happened, I don't know. I'd like to find that out. That property on our tax assessment is $626,800. Nowhere near $9 million. Don't you dare spend my $9 million on a piece of property that is not assessed to fall into $2 million or $3 million. That is wrong, very wrong. And there's no development on it. It's a piece of land that has sat vacant for, I can go back as far as June Choi, and it goes back beyond June Choi. And it's been sitting there with nothing happening. At one point, the understanding was, and I don't think you'll ever find any paperwork on it, there was supposed to be a supermarket put there, along with some strip mall stores, which I would think would be a supermarket, a clothing, for getting your clothes cleaned, a deli, et cetera, to take care of those people that live on Coolidge, that live on Talmadge, the condo that goes in where the explosion was, the condos at the corner of Coolidge and Talmadge. Down past there, there's a street that has houses on both sides of that street before Dismal Pond Swamp begins. And on the other side is an apartment for seniors and an apartment for regulars. And to be told that there was no value for a supermarket there, that, in my opinion, and I'm going to get in trouble for making this statement, that was held for years and years and years and years and years to get money. Nobody made a move to do anything to help those people in that area. And a supermarket, they have to go over into Park Avenue, they have to go over to Piscataway to find a full supermarket. And I think it's been unfair. And I do not want $9 million spent on a piece of property that is assessed at less than its value. That's my concern on that. I think that's it. I don't think I've used up all my time. Can I look at something? Because there was something I wanted to address to the attorney, and I don't remember. So if I can do a brief look at it. I'm usually better organized, but I haven't been here in a long time. Oh, I wanted to ask, I guess maybe it might be the attorney or maybe it's the business administrator. When there are grants that the township gets, are they always a solid grant or is it always a matching grant?
1 minute left.
Thank you, Marlena.
Could be either one. Yeah, depending on the grant. Some grants require matching funds, some don't. Depends on the grant.
Okay. And I don't think I can find the other thing on here. Oh, the business administrator, I was going to ask her a question, but she answered it before I even had to ask it. The fact that we're self-insured means that we're not looking to drop out of the state health plan like all the other towns are starting to do.
No, that actually means that we're not on the state health benefits plan. So it's actually a good thing
Okay.
at this point.
I was wondering about that, and I thought I would ask you, because there was an article today that indicated something like 11 towns are dropping out of the state plan.
Yes, unfortunately, they had about a 24% increase in their rates.
And I wanted to know, did we have, my question in my mind was, did we have half of our own self-insured, or we also went in with part of the plan? But you're telling me we did.
We're all self-insured, yes.
Thank you very much. Have
Sure.
a good evening. Everybody stay safe.
Thank you, Ms. Hennessy. And to our attorney, if you can just provide an update on Silver Lake.
Sure. The matter is still currently in litigation. Therefore, it is always the policy not to discuss pending litigation. If the governing body would like an update in closed session at a future meeting, I can certainly arrange for that. But I cannot provide an update in the public as it's pending. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Krista? Woman in the back, then? The woman in the back, then.
She needs a translator. Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure I didn't forget anyone on this side if by chance.
Yeah. 我是一个刚刚来到纽约爱迪生的一个新的居民。
Miss Ruan just bought a house in Edison.
Before you proceed, just from a procedural standpoint, I do ask name and address.
Oh, okay. Ruan Lin, 39 South East Court.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah. 我是刚刚来到 Edison 的一个居民。
She's a newcomer to Edison.
我来到 Edison 是12月20号。
Okay, December 20th, she just bought a house.
Yeah. Supercharge 那 company
right behind Supercharge Entertainment.
他们是12月20 4号开业，26号开业，圣诞节期间开业。
Okay, so they open their business on December 26th, right during Christmas time.
我非常高兴地来到我的新居，但是迎接我的是7个巨大的垃圾桶。
She was so excited and happy to move into the new house. And now she's faced with 7 super large
还有
garbage cans
还有一个运输垃圾的一个电梯，
and an elevator to deliver garbage.
还有高高在上的2楼的一个观景台，他们整天有不同的员工在上面看着我的房子。
And a very tall elevated building, right?
Yeah, 那个
Yeah, that can overlook her house in the backyard, right? In her
Yeah.
backyard.
我觉得我的隐私受到了，天天都受到了侵犯。
She feels that her privacy has been invaded, has been compromised every day.
Yeah, 我们曾经跟市长他们见过面，也是问题。
On the side, can we please? I can't understand. Thank you. My apologies.
Yeah.
OK， 我就是想，他们能最好建个围墙，把他们的电梯跟他们的楼上那个阳台包起来。
Okay. She has a suggestion that if they can extend that retention wall, right, that behind the Top Golf, extend it to the other side, and also wrap around the garbage area, and also the high tower, or wrap it so she would not be able to see it.
那个电梯跟那个阳台要包到屋子里面去了。
The elevator and the deck should be wrapped around within the building and
Yeah.
closed.
Yeah, thank you，谢谢。
Okay, we just want to voice our opinion. As our neighbors already did, it really had a great negative impact to the lives of the people who live there. Okay.
Council President. Yes, and Councilman Coyle, just before, thank you for speaking and for being willing to translate for her. Thank you. Councilman Coyle?
If the resident was just up, if she can send an email to the clerk, just so I can clarify her complaint, that'd be helpful, if you could send an email of the description of what you just discussed, so I can further understand it. Thank you.
Council President,
I got most of it, but
yeah, from what I'm understanding from most of the people, because of the wall
Lights.
barrier and the light shining into their houses, this is creating a major problem. So I don't know, does this should go to planning? Should this go to zoning? Where should it go?
Council President, if I can make the remark here, this is probably the second, third situation we are going through. We had a Topgolf, we formed the subcommittee, we had the Amazon, the same problem, this is the third problem. I would, again, it's up to the Council President, if we can extend our, rather than calling quote-unquote Amazon subcommittee, this is more of anything that deals with either noise or lights or any inconvenience due to the commercial property to the neighborhood. We should, visit that area and we should address the concern, because this is pretty much is common. Solution, it is very simple. I don't want to put the solution here, but we should talk to this committee can present the issues and the concerns of the residents to the business owner, and then probably we can come back and submit a report.
I think that makes perfect sense, considering that's similar issues.
Yep.
Thank you. And to our BA, I know you were.
Just so procedurally everyone understands, usually the day after, 2 days after this meeting, I meet with all of our department heads here in this room, and we go through all of the concerns, and one of these, we will go through this and potentially get some recommendations for this council on how to address these major projects and any potential issues that may be, seen in the future. So I will certainly bring this up to all of the department heads. I'd like to everybody have there at the round table, and we discuss a plan moving forward, including the chief. You have his perspective here, of course, but everybody collectively will come up with something, and we'll make some recommendations.
Thank you.
Council President?
Yes, Councilman Brescher?
Right. What we've found with Amazon, and the police department has been great. They've actually went out there, but they don't have the jurisdiction to enforce the laws. And I think that's because the way our ordinance is written, that our ordinance says that it is the health department. Is there a way that we could maybe change that ordinance to allow, the police department to also enforce, noise complaints, lighting?
I could look at that.
Thank you.
Jot it down. And, yes, thank you. First-time speakers?
AJ Benz, Edison, New Jersey. Oh, I just want to point some things out. The residents here, the officers, but first let's give up to the officers. Can we get a round of applause for the officers, please? These officers are here. They didn't have to be here. They're here because they support the township of Edison, New Jersey. Chief, thank you for being here. I asked for the mayor. Where's the mayor? Where's the mayor? Yeah, I know he's hiding. He might be with, he had to be, I don't know where the mayor. Joshi, if you're watching, where are you when I called you? Where were you when I called you? See, we as a township, we're here for everyone. Lady back in the
Council
back
President,
over here.
point of order, he has to address the council. He's not here to address the audience, he has to address the council.
Okay, I'll speak for the chair, but the residents here, like the lady who just spoke about Supercharge, that's the issue. The lights, the sound, there needs to be a wall so everyone can get a good night's sleep. I don't know what to say. It's just, I appreciate everybody to come out here. Thank you. But the mayor needs to come here. The mayor, technically, when I've been watching YouTube videos, every mayor comes to the council meeting. I want to hear what he has to say. A lot of people are upset with the mayor. I want the mayor here. You got the Board of Ed here. Round of applause for them. Yeah. You see, this is who we are as Edison. We have to be there for one another. They're asking for public accuracy. I'll sign up. Shoot. I have nothing to hide, nothing to lose. Next year is the election. Will Sam Joshi will be here in the next 4 years? Another 4 years? He has to start listening to the township of Edison. I don't know what else to say, but thank you. I maintain my time.
Thank you. Any other first-time speakers? Christo? No.
This is my rebuttal time. Oh, I thought we were.
Only the first time.
My apologies, Christo, first time.
Mo Patel, Edison. First of all, I want to thank all the officers for coming out and doing a great job. You're amazing. Thank you. Second of all, you guys are here to represent the people. And when you take away and stifle the people's time, that's on you. And next time you go for election, they have a right to stifle your voice as well. So the other thing I wanted to talk about is my friends here, my neighbors, talked about the property that on Talmadge Road. Mayor Sam Joshi has been talking about this property with some board members before, having private meetings with the administration, and also doing all these little side secret meetings some of you guys are privy to as well. And the thing is, when you're going out and trying to sell this to the Board of Ed, or trying to say that we're going to buy this property for you, we'll do it for you, do it or shut up. Bottom line, right? Do it or shut up. That's it. Don't go out putting the carrot in front of the horse and stick and tell everybody that I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, and you don't do it. Do it or shut up. The other thing is, Nish brought up, and all these residents brought up, the issue with the racetrack and Top Golf. Those residents are feeling the pain of your mistakes, by the way. The planning and zoning board's mistake. Because you should have easily told the developers, like, listen, you want to build something, that's great. You're going to build a wall there first to stop the sound barrier from going into the residents, and the light too. You should have done that. And that's part of your job as a planning zoning board person, right? You're representing the people on that board as well. So make sure that you do the job for the people and not for your friends and developers or whoever the heck you want to do the job for. The people are the people you're representing, not developers or anybody else. Bottom line, my friends already talked about the property. We'll be talking a lot more about the property as well, and do your job. Bottom line, you represent the people, not the developers. That's what you're doing right now. You're just developer left and right. Close Clara Barton Library. Why? Because the developer friend needs money. That's cool. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other first-time speakers? Second time? Second time, Krista? Just before you start, I don't want to take into your time.
Thank you.
Second time is in regards to rebuttal. Rebuttal is on an issue that you did not originally speak on, that someone else has brought up.
Thank you. I know the laws on rebuttal better than you guys. May I continue?
I will request name and address. I understand.
Yes, for fear of my life and safety, and people are getting shot all everywhere. I'm keeping it private. Thank you.
Please proceed. Thank you.
Okay. Somebody said that they want women in the upper command. I'm against that. I'm against people just putting women in upper command just because it's a woman. I'm against promoting people just because of the color of their skin or the religion that they're a part of. It sounds like cultural Marxism to me. Ronald Reagan would have never accepted that. Somehow, here in Edison Township, we're de-evolving. Is that a little bit discrimination? Are you not violating New Jersey law on discrimination when you're strictly going to only promote women or gender or whatever, race? Lawyer? I mean, there's more qualified people on the list. Is there a reason why we skip past the first 100 qualified people to make it to whatever you want for that day? It could be a woman, it could be a black person, it could be an Indian or Chinese person. Can we hire the best officers the first chance we get? You think that would be a good idea to do? I'm very disgusted that every time something like this happens, it then becomes a photo opportunity. 2 female firefighters, and then it's like, oh, such a big thing. Me personally, hey, I don't have a problem women going in the command staff when they're qualified to do so. I do have a problem looking for people based on certain preferences. How much time do I have left, Marlena? Lawyer, does that sound like cultural Marxism to you? Aren't we against cultural Marxism here in America? Councilman John Pointer, is that how you pick cops? Through discriminatory practices? Would you like to answer that question? Okay. I'd like to know why the lawyer was calling members of the audience out of order. That's not his job.
Please speak in regards to items that were brought up by other members of the public.
You didn't even wait for a council person to call me out of order, and then it would have been your job to rule on it.
Council President, the speaker is no longer rebutting.
And it's not the lawyer's job to interrupt members of the public. What's going on here?
Speaker's out of order, Council President.
How much time do I have left, Marlena? 7 seconds. I would like you to respect Robert's Rules of Order
Speaker's
and
out
please
of
stop
order.
interrupting members of the public when they have the floor. God bless
Speaker's
America.
time has elapsed.
God bless Donald Trump. 2024, baby. 2024.
Thank you. First-time speakers, second-time speakers. Mr. Shi.
Jerry Shee, 9 Finch, Finch Court. So I just want to add on what the Councilman Patil made the comments about we call it Township Liaison Committee, you guys call it School Board Liaison Committee. If this property of Talmadge is,
Council President, the speaker is not in exercising a proper rebuttal. He spoke on this the first time.
but he made a comment, I'm rebutting it.
What are you specifically rebutting?
Well, I'm just going to talk about comments about the procedure, okay? If the mayor is going to say he's going to give it to the school board, let's follow the process, okay? And also, you stopped Mrs. Penn when she brought up the issue of Clara Barton Library. We do not want to see the Clara Barton Library being repeated again. The mayor talked to 2 board members, and he started using the school board as if to sell his agenda. At the end of the day, when you talk about something that the school board, majority of the school board needs to approve it. Talking to 2 school board members doesn't mean that the school board is all in favor of it. So is that part of it? Is that a rebuttal or no?
No, it's not proper.
It's not?
No.
Okay, but you just stopped Mrs. Penn for brought that issue up. And I'm addressing the issue, you stopped her.
No, I stopped her because she asked me a question.
You already finished answering the question.
If we can, just to maintain to.
Okay, so
the
yeah, he's
rebuttal
trying to
stuff.
stop. I was actually going to stop it. I'm done. But the way that he does it, extend the meeting. Okay? I hope you have some respect to the people who actually paying your job, for paying your salary to work for the township. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Frank?
Frank Abella, 21 Oak Grove Lane here in town. The 2 issues that I did not speak to, I need to be able to send.
I do have to ask, is this in regards to, because it's in the rebuttal?
It's in regards to the wonderful effort that was put forth by the need for a public advocacy that was done by Joel Bassoff last night and his team. If you watch this at the zoning committee meeting, you understand how effective citizens win and the town wins. You can win on both. The second thing is, I do think the police deserve more accolades than I can ever give you for all the good effort that you actually are doing for this town. I could never do your job, and in today's world of disequilibrium, I don't know how you do your job effectively. You're wrong when you're right, and you're right when you're wrong. That's all I have to say.
Thank you, sir. Second time speakers? AJ?
I'm just going to make it short and sweet. You already know who I am. There is, Joe Biden has more women.
Sorry, that's nothing in regards to that statement was even mentioned by any of the other members of the public. So this is in regards to a rebuttal of a statement made by another member of the public on a topic that you did not initially discuss on.
Oh, all right then. Can I say something or?
It has to be in regards to a topic that was brought up by another member of the public if it was not already addressed by yourself in the first part.
All right then. That's fine. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Any other second-time speakers? First-time speakers, just to make sure? Would you like to, Mr. Patel?
Stop stifling the voice of the people when you do all this nonsense.
Speaker's out of order.
Yeah, no, I'm not out of order.
You are out of order.
Any other first-time speakers? Second-time speakers? Can I get a motion to close the public portion?
Motion to close the public portion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
This meeting stands adjourned.